Are we live yet?
Yeah, we're definitely live right now. We ain't that live yet. I'm about to do it. But DT's not here yet. Show Killer's back from his quarantine battle. Luckily he made it. Love.
Can we address what's going on?
No, it's nothing to address.
You said just word address.
I said there's nothing to address.
T Loves, anything you want to say? It's nothing to address.
Tonight though.
Very.
Tonight we have the pleasure of having Damien Smith in. He actually just did a movie about the Pruitt Igo projects. Received normal individual festival awards across the country. He's going to talk about it. A very laid-back guy from St. Louis. He moved out to L.A. Like 20 years ago and started making room for himself. He said he wanted to come. He said he picked this show because he was trying to get back in touch with St. Louis. So someone mentioned this show, and it was just so St. Louis for him that he just really wanted to be a part of it. So apparently we are reaching people. Somebody actually bought a car from the car lot that they told him that they learned about it from.
Can you reach out and hand me that bottle?
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, somebody. Yeah.
How much we get?
I got a quarter pound.
How that neon look? That 96 neon.
I believe it's out already. He's gonna sit down and talk about it. Yeah, they did one Bell Fountain Neighbors too before. Like the world wants to know about St. Louis.
I think the one in Bell Fountain was like the biggest place to go from. I'm gonna say sugar to shit, but it was like from middle class to poverty, like in United States history. They said it was Bell Fountain.
Once you find out the history of
middle
Pruitt-Igoe,
class,
it's gonna be kind of
poverty in
like wow. They call a project for a reason. But that's about it for a second right now.
That premiered yesterday.
We're gonna take a break.
When T Loves come out?
When we come back, we're finna get a history lesson right now in 3 minutes to find out what we're talking about. But when we come back, we'll be with Damien Smith to talk about his movie Target on What Up Doe Radio.
Okay.
I gotta feed the streets.
Okay.
All that stuff downstairs. That's
What you read?
I mean, can somebody help me? I done brought all
Somebody
this
know what
stuff,
they
but
doing.
ain't nobody bring no.
What you need help?
We don't have no napkins or nothing.
Maybe this What Up Doe Radio.
That's supposed to bring it.
The person bringing the food be bringing all this.
No, they don't.
They do.
Potluck.
Not when I work with you. No, I'm not. That's when we have a guest.
You got some
Well, I'm sorry.
Kind of got a point with the
I do
guest
have a
part.
point. I'm not a
Yeah, you're
guest.
right on this one. I wanted to call you so wrong, but you're right.
I think it's looking
Girl,
at.
I'm sorry.
It's on me.
Oh, I ain't know that.
I'm pregnant. That's all.
Yeah, twins.
There is compassion.
Hey,
man,
is
it's
your
over, man.
is
It's
your
over.
omnidirection thing?
Snacks. Facts.
Hey, everybody talk about Jay's verse on this. Yeah. What Nas said on this shit.
Oh, what?
It went better.
What'd you say?
It went better than Jay.
Ah, why you say
That's
that
the
though?
easiest way to get you off the show early. You can't
went
talk
better
about
than-
Jay-Z on
No,
this
first
show.
off, Jay-Z's
I don't think
top
their
dog.
verses were
We all
better.
know
You
that.
go?
What'd you say?
You go?
Tupac, then Jay-Z.
We argue
Yeah,
that.
We're gonna-
my body,
Second hour.
easy.
We argue that in the second hour.
Yeah, Tupac, easy.
No, my favorite rap. No, he literally the order he just said. Mine is Tupac, then Jay-Z.
I'm not even old enough to listen
Here
to
we coming in.
Are you kidding me?
We coming in. We coming in. We coming in. We coming in. We coming in.
Tupac and Malcolm X are my
That don't mean nothing.
favorite people.
Raise your hand.
I don't want to tell no grown people shit.
Principal.
Okay.
I'm just letting the people know.
Yeah.
Thanks for the package, T.
And we're back with Damien D. Smith with What Up Doe Radio. Actually glad someone we didn't have to recruit him. He said he wanted to get in touch with St. Louis, so he decided to reach out to What Up Doe Radio because it was the most authentic St. Louis sounding show that we have going on in the town right now. That makes me feel
Real
pretty
talk.
good. So, what brings you here, man? I don't want to mess up, so I'm gonna let you tell us about yourself, man.
Okay, for sure. But yeah, but he is 100% correct. I did want to be why I hear and what I see that everybody in St. Louis is listening to and when watching when it comes to this podcast world. So I had to make sure I got over here for real though. Cause I mean, one of the things that like I ain't lived home in so many years, so I be like really like craving for some type of connection to home when I'm not here, right? So, and I be traveling so much, so I be just looking it out, and then when I pop up on this, and then everybody was telling me about y'all, man, like What Up Doe Radio. So I was like, oh yeah, I got to be on this if I can, and here I am.
Everybody.
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 Everybody. So, all right, so I'm here and we're talking about my documentary. It's a documentary I directed called Target St. Louis Volume 1. If you want, I can tell y'all what it's about.
Yeah.
Yeah?
That's
All
why
right,
you're
sure.
here.
That's what
No,
up.
no, who won the game last night?
Which game? That's what we're here to talk about. Yeah, goddamn. Okay,
We talking about practice.
Yeah, I'm from
Lose
the
on
north side.
second.
All right, film. All right, Target St. Louis Volume 1. It's about post-World War II during the Cold War era. The military conducted secret chemical testing on the most vulnerable population, which is St. Louis residents. And we all know who was the most vulnerable population in that time, right? Our African-American community, right? So what was happening is that you remember? Okay, y'all remember as kids when these trucks used to come by spraying for pesticides and things like that, spraying for mosquitoes and all that. Well, in actuality, was spraying zinc, cadmium sulfide, and a lot of other elements in that we discussed. Yeah, man.
That's why the mosquitoes went down.
And that's the mosquitoes didn't die, but your cells were. Yeah, I mean that's what we discussed in Target St. Louis Volume 1, my documentary that's running at the St. Louis International Film Festival. Our screening is done, but we have we're online. It's also a virtual festival, so check it out. You can check it out when you go to the St. Louis International Film Festival. So back to the film. So the film comes up, and when we talk about, and it's told through the eyes of survivors. I mean, these people were children at the time. And now they're in their late 70s, and they just want to get their story out and talk about what's going on and what's happening. And we tell this story, and we include like senators. We include all type of things. It's a beautiful documentary. It's a harsh documentary, but I can't wait to everybody from St. Louis to see it because that's who I did it for.
How did you get everybody to sign on?
What'd you say?
How did you get everybody to sign on? Like, was it like an easy process? Like they was ready to tell their story, or like even like the senators and stuff?
I see what you're saying. And it got real easy for people to sign on once they learned how I came to about the story, right? So what happened is, me and my grandmama, we used to communicate with each other through letters. Like she used to send me a letter about something. Usually, most of these letters was about family, about gossip, about what's happening. Who did what and what they did. Cousins, aunts, and all those things. And then sometimes my grandmother was an activist, and she did a lot of civil engagement, and she worked for Luther Ministries. And her job was, let's say, your mom or your daddy get locked up, right? So you usually, the person get awarded to the state, you know, to either or the state or a grandmama, aunt, or whoever it is. So whoever person take the kid, my grandma came with Lutheran Ministries, they provided support for people who took the child and things like that. So again, it was times in life where I just, you know, we be putting refrigerators in houses, cutting grass. We would, you know, take care of things and make sure the kid has some semblance of a childhood, you know, with one of your parents being incarcerated. So that's what my grandmama did, right? Okay. And, you know, and she recruited all of us in this tape.
Shout out to your grandma.
Sarah Modella Barnes. Sarah Modella Barnes.
She's
Shout
still
out
in
to
St.
her.
Louis? She's still in St. Louis?
What'd you say?
Your grandma's still in St. Louis?
Yeah, lived and died in St. Louis, Missouri.
Okay,
Yeah, she passed away. Actually, she's in this documentary. So anyway, so she sent us me letters to say. So in this particular letter she sent me was a clipping from the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, and it was the findings of Dr. Martino Taylor, and she had wrote up. It was a little blurb about some chemical testing in St. Louis around this area and stuff like that, right? So she said, "Yo, this is my neighborhood. This is the community that I grew up in, you know, in this area." So we went into excuse me. I started researching it and going back, you know, find out what she was talking about, and we had a couple conversations. And the more I found out about this situation, the more upset I was. So after talking to her, after a few conversations, I decided, like, yeah, this is it, man. I got to make this for my people because no one knows about this, and what's happening is an atrocity. So luckily and blissfully that I have a skill set. So I know how to tell stories. I'm a filmmaker, I'm an actor, I'm a writer. So it helps out that I can use all my skill sets and you know, and benefit the people of St. Louis, my folks, you know.
Was this something that, obviously this is near and dear to your heart, but it wasn't important for you to really tell a story from St. Louis? Like, because I know there's a lot of different horrible things going on in a lot of other places, but was it important because you're from here and because it is a part of your legacy of your grandmother's?
Yeah, you know what, yes. I mean, to all what you're saying, it was very important for me to tell the story for a multitude of reasons. And one of them is, the name of this documentary is Target St. Louis Volume 1. The Volume 1 is there because this is the first of an anthology of film that I want to tell in St. Louis. So, yeah, I believe that St. Louis can you know, I want to start and help in bringing the film industry to St. Louis as I see it in so many other places. And I even find myself, like, sometimes I'm on sets for things I'm in and shows, and I'm in these communities, and I'm like, this can easily be in St. Louis. Why isn't it here? And then also I wanted to, like, you know, teach my folks how to fish. So you can so I want to show that there's a below the line. Below the line is like if you're not the actors in front of the camera or the director, you're below the line. You're the grips, you're the ACs, you're the vans, you're the utilities, you're all these lighting people and all this. That's called below the line for the people who's listening to us, right? So I want to help try to bring and revitalize some type of film industry in St. Louis because I think there's a lot of, you know, opportunity there. These are good paying jobs, by the way. I mean, these are and I know people who are lucky enough and beneficial enough to be included in this situation that they can buy second homes.
Oh, wow.
And these are brothers
down
and sisters.
Hollywood for a second behind people below the line.
Yeah, the IATSE strike. You know, that's what was going on. That's why it was the deal has been brokered, you know, for this point, but I don't think it has been finalized. But it did hold off the dooming strike, which I'm happy because, you know, I'm in the middle of filming. So, you know, that would have said, hey, we all stop working if this would have went through. So, you know, that works out. You know, it worked out really well. So, but what I'm saying is that this industry can be in St. Louis. And I've been, you know, in conversations with Andrea Sporsic, who was the film commissioner of St. Louis, and we've been, you know, I've been actively letting her know my plans, and we've been in communication. She's been in full support of help ushering in some more film because I believe that's a lot of stories can be told out of St. Louis, man, for real. And you know, as we look at, you know, different places like, let's say Boston, for example, right? We all kind of know what people of Boston are like because why? There's movies that have been moved like Ben Affleck and all these people.
Yeah, true,
they tell their story. Even the bank robbing stories are like these are genuine.
A lot of crooked
people.
cops in Boston.
You see what I'm saying? Like, hey, we crooked cops, but this is who we are, type of things, right? We get to who in Atlanta. So many movies about Atlanta. We get who the people of Atlanta is. LA, of course, we got the laid back palm trees. We all know what that's about. In New York, so many movies out of New York, we all know who they are. We get fashion style from that. But you tell me what is St. Louis though?
It's
right
interesting.
Now? What's that story?
That's interesting.
Who's
that
that?
you would
Yours.
say that
You see what I'm saying?
Before you came on, I thought you were just an informational type of guy. Like I didn't do never mind. But I thought you were an informational type of guy. So
Yeah.
and I always wonder, like, when are we gonna have a gripping St. Louis movie that everybody can attach themselves to? Like, we haven't made it yet. Like, this is going on and everybody can relate to this time period, whether it's contemporary or in the past. Or is that your mission?
Yeah, of course that's my mission, man. And again, like I said, volume 1 is an anthology. So I've already got volume 2 written out, and that's called and it's a narrative, and it's called Victory High. So yeah, that's my narrative, and discuss that.
It's funny that you brought that up on a restaurant. And you familiar with Leah Daniels?
Yeah, Leah Daniels Butler. What up, though?
She just was here.
She
came by the restaurant, and when I sat down and asked her why she was here, she was actually having dinner with with Louis Reed, which is the president of Board of Aldermen. And the lady that you spoke to, the Film Commission, they just came from a meeting with her.
Okay.
So there's other people trying to
I know
push that needle.
It's a few folks. Shout out to Craig, Craig Thomas. That's another good
yeah,
brother. I know.
Yeah,
I know.
Craig, that's my dog.
Craig's good. Hey, shout out to Craig, and brother. Hey, let me tell you about Craig real quick. So I used to produce a film festival. I used to do a lot of stuff in New York. So I remember when it was one time I saw, when I moved from St. Louis, I went straight to New York and started doing my thing, hustling and all that stuff. So anyway, I'm producing this film festival, and I see it was a film from St. Louis, and it said, I think it was Street Ballers, if I was correct. And it was Craig. Both of their name was Craig. I think the director's name was Craig too, or something like that. Yeah. But all I saw was St. Louis in that. Man, I got so happy. Man, I called them up. I'm like, hey man, whatever I need. It's certain things that not like you can get if you need to get your poster placed somewhere and stuff. Anything I can do to help and support these brothers, man, it just made me feel so good because I saw them brothers hustling. So shout out to the brother Craig, man.
Oh, yeah, that's
that brother been pushing forward.
Shout out to Craig, man.
Always on. He doing his thing. But yeah, man. So that's that's what I want to do. That's volume 1. But this film, Target St. Louis Volume 1, is a trip, man, because. And it's told through the eyes of the survivors, man. These people were children at these times.
What were they surviving?
They were surviving being tested upon. Like they didn't know that this was happening to them. This was like they didn't want to ask their permission. So what was happening is that the government was saying that they were putting together a situation. It's called an aerosol spray study. So they were saying that they were putting together a defensive weapon just in case Moscow attack, because this is post-World War II. So just in case Moscow attack, that they can release this cloud of smoke and, it'll protect American cities from exact strikes from bombers. But come to find out, and throughout the research and what you find out in Target St. Louis Volume 1 is that it was said that they were putting together a offensive weapon to attack Moscow, and they chose St. Louis as the chosen city because of our proximity to water, weather conditions, and an architecture within which was centered around like the Pruitt-Igoe housing complex. So if y'all know about Pruitt-Igoe back in the day, it was some crazy times.
So go ahead. There's no, because it was done. The Pruitt-Igoe was done being built in '56, but they said it was fucked up in '58. Like,
now, it wasn't that quick, but it was quick.
I mean, that's what I read.
No, I got you. I see what you said. But
they blew it up in the middle of the '70s. Like, that was the second housing project in the city of St. Louis.
But the Pruitt-Igoe was the first of its kind. So like Cabrini Green came after that. All those other ones that came around. Pruitt-Igoe was the first of its kind when to that type of development, and they were selling it up on the people like the house on the hill. So if you look at that time period, this is great migration around that period. People, people went their ways from the South, and people from like, St. Louis got people from like Louisiana, because Louisiana.
We got Mississippi.
And
Arkansas.
And Arkansas somewhat, but then Chicago got like Mississippi, and then Texas got from California. We just migrated because for economic, upliftment and shit like that, right? So everybody wanted to head on. So we get to St. Louis, and then so now we live in downtown in this community. We got dirt floors. There's dirt floors, there's no indoor plumbing, there's none of that. So now they're positioning, hey, we got this place where you got indoor plumbing, you got conditioning, elevators. This is a community that we put in there. So they promised a house on the hill, the shiny house on the castle on the hill type of thing for the living and upward mobility. But then what happened is then what happened is that they, once they got in, they kind of pulled the resources from it, and then that's what created that Pruitt Igo that we know about, where the community engagement, because it wasn't just like they pulled the resources and everything just went downhill and nobody gave a fuck and all that stuff. Excuse my language. But
you watch the show, right?
Okay. Hey, but listen. Sometimes you got to say it out loud so it just be out there, right? So you know what I'm saying. So, they pulled the resources, and then they just left people to fend for themselves. So the people were pulling for themselves. It was a lot of people that was coming together and communities that were pulling together to make this stay up because they believed in that dream. And while they're doing that, they were being secretly tested upon. You know what I'm saying? Look how cold that is.
Is this public records now?
Oh no, this is all out. Freedom of Information Act. Shout out to Dr. Lisa Martino Taylor, because that sister is the doctor who did a thesis statement on it, and then that got a blurb in the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, and my grandma mailed me that clip from that blurb, and then that's how I started the documentary. And then Lisa's in this documentary as well.
The federal government actually had sold the idea to the St. Louis, like it's going to be a segregated for upper middle class, not upper middle, but middle class white people and black people trying to do something different. That was a selling point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, upward mobility, and it was segregated.
I was wondering if that's what upward mobility meant, because I definitely didn't know what that meant when you said it.
I mean that's what we're saying. So it was definitely segregated because it was the Pruitt that was named after Tuskegee Airmen, then the Igo, which was named after a political. A political figure, which is, and then you can tell the Pruitt was the, African Americans and the Igo was that. And then what happened is there was a storm. And then they had to use Pruitt Igo for emergency housing for people in the community. So it kind of, you had to go through like a process to get into Pruitt Igo. You had to, meet this, you meet that, but also you got to understand those times when, it was still around the times where, the men couldn't be in the house. Type of element. So let's not act like that wasn't the reality of the situation, but we all got to just we all have to paint a real reality, so we all know what these people are dealing with, because I want everyone to understand the shit that they were going through and then also to be preyed upon. Mm-hmm. So because what's unfortunate for us is that we got to always somehow prove our humanity to people. That we are human beings, man. We don't. How you cut us, we bleed, but people act like that is not the truth. And this is what we have to do and present stories like this. So you can see like, hey man, this is messed up on all spectrums of the story, all spectrums of reality.
What actually came from the testing? Like, is it something like it was causing cancer? It was, what came from the testing?
That's a great question, brother. And I really like that sweater you got on. Hey, if y'all can't see this sweater,
shouts out to
it
Love.
It says love on it. It's dope. I like the sweater.
I'm gonna get you one, B. I'm gonna get you one. I'm gonna get you one.
It's fly.
I got you.
But so the most ridiculous part of the situation is they did no follow up. So that's what the documentary centers around. Like, hey, you did no follow up. So you came into a community, you preyed upon a community, and then what you did was not any follow up on what happened to the people that you tested upon. How did this affect your body? They what they did. They gained the data what they needed and what all the information that they wanted. They did all that, and then after they did it, they just like, all right, good luck.
But I guess how would they? And then how could they find out data if I didn't know what's they gonna pay me to go to the doctor or something like that?
No, you said how would they? I'm say it again.
Like how would they test me? You know what I'm saying? Like if I didn't know I was taking this, how would you test me? Like what you gonna tell me? We're gonna go to the doctor on the 3rd.
Yeah,
and we're gonna see what the hell y'all got in y'all.
Okay, so there were clinics, right? Certain clinics in Pruitt-Igoe, and they were taking on like baby teeth. Like they'll give you a small stipend if you bring in your baby teeth, and then they can tell what level of exposure. But listen, Pruitt-Igoe is not just Pruitt-Igoe, the surrounding communities. It's just one of so many stories that's been going on about this. But then we said but not just that particular way. It's several ways that they can test. They can measure exposure. They can do a whole lot of things. They can gather the information that they need. But here's the thing: when you see Target St. Louis Volume 1. You would totally understand what I'm talking about and how they did their tests and, the culprits that were part of the situation.
And that's out right now.
No, it's part of the St. Louis International Film Festival right now.
How do we see it? Like
You
this
can
being
go
on-
to the St. Louis International Film Festival site. They have Target St. Louis on there, and then they can say you see it virtually. And then you go to I'm sorry about that. Hit the mic.
$20.
It's $20. I got it.
22.
I understand. There's St. Louis International Film Festival should be paying for that. But no, I'm just playing. But yeah, you can go there and and there's a link to take you to be able to see. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, and they'll allow you to see the documentary right there.
Oh, okay.
Up until thank you, Elizabeth.
Elizabeth Danielle.
Up until the 21st, the documentary will be available for you to see as part of the St. Louis International Film Festival. But also check this out, hey y'all can vote as well after you see the documentary and tell people what you think because it is in competition, and we just won the 25th annual Urban World Film Festival in New York. So we won Best Documentary Feature at the 25th annual Urban World Film Festival in New York. So
That's big.
Tell us why everybody from St. Louis should see this film.
Man, listen. Man, I'm so happy I'm home. I can tell you what I really think. First, man, I put a lot of work in this. I'm gonna go straight up, man.
You need a drink.
Yeah, man.
You need some tissue, nigga.
You know,
right.
double
Didi,
ply,
you got some
man.
more tissue in the car?
Double ply, man. Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This is
Don't take no double though.
Yeah. It was a sacrifice, man. But you know what? But here's the thing. All jokes aside, I did it for us. This is a FUBU production. You know, for us, by us. Okay. You know, but really, you know, I really wanted to. Again, like when I said, my grandmama told me this, and I was really recognizing, you know, what really happened, and I just had to do something, and having the skill set to do something about it, I couldn't just sit there and not do what I needed to do. And also, I tell stories. You know, I'm a storyteller, like I said, and I've also have directed other documentaries, other docu-stories, so I'm going to use that skill set for home. And it was already in the plans anyway to tell the story of the anthology that I was speaking about. But I was like, okay, you know what? This is the perfect one to start with.
Was there any backlash to this?
I was gonna say that.
Well, you know, you get the backlash. I'm gonna tell you the truth. The backlash that I've received mostly is from people saying, "Hey, man, you know they're gonna be on you." And I'm pretty sure. I mean, whatever the situation. I'm sorry.
No, piggybacking off that, I was gonna ask you: is it the government or anybody had an issue with you?
I haven't had any. You know, I'm telling you the truth. I haven't had any issues that I know about at this present moment. But you know, just tell you the honest to God truth, though. I really do look at this situation. This was post World War II, right? It's a lot of other things that was a lot. You know, this is a lot. This is ridiculous, but there's a lot of other things as well that was ridiculous around that time period as well. So it's not like it wasn't.
We need
It
to
wasn't
wait for this little gnat in this motherfucker.
Yeah, man, that's the spirit. It's one of the ancestors.
That's
like,
what I'm
hey,
in right
keep
now.
talking that. Need
This
the energy.
ancestors be here every day for the past
Right.
2 weeks.
Hey,
goddamn.
man, check out. I mean, y'all doing something right then, right? You know what I'm saying? Look at it that
Well,
way.
find another way to reach me, ancestors.
Didi, what's up, man?
You know?
Didi actually had family down at the
Hi,
time.
Didi. How you doing?
Good.
You seem like you got a pleasant spirit.
Really?
But you
Shit.
come off like that. Is she Debbie turn up? What's happening?
It just depends.
Didi does have a pleasant, beautiful spirit.
If I'm not mistaken, Didi, your entire family was down there, right?
Yeah.
Did they say
Pruitt-Igoe
something?
House of Fun?
Yeah, from 65 to 71.
Okay, yeah.
They were probably one of the last families to leave because it blew up in 72.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, by the way, this was first off, yeah, that's
No.
you know.
What you mean by blew up?
Like, listen.
No, they blew it up.
Blew it up.
They say,
I'm fucking up like something
When have you ever
blew
known
up.
the United States to blow up something in 14 years? We built
But
it
it was
56
a lot
and
of stuff
destroyed
going
in
on
72.
in the Pruitt-Igoes, and it was so separated. They had a whole lot of stuff going on, like a whole lot.
It was
of
it was a
stuff going on.
nation for real.
And
Pruitt-Igoe
they blew
was
it
real.
up because there was supposed to be a lot of hidden dead bodies in a lot of the buildings.
It was a lot going on. Pruitt-Igoe has several stories, and I'm pretty sure. Again, so back to what I was saying, right? It comes back full circle. That was hilarious. It comes back.
You bring you in.
I wish it comes back full circle. There's so many stories, man.
Yeah.
It's so many stories that can be told out of St. Louis, right? And you can see and you can build the identity of a culture. You can see who these people are. St. Louis has its own culture right now. St. Louis has allowed me Let me tell you right now, has allowed me to go from here to moving directly to Harlem, not knowing a person, not one single person, and then doing the same thing and move to LA, not knowing a person, and each town I was in did something with it.
And it's
you
funny,
see what I'm saying?
That's why I didn't speak a lot about my mom, because I interviewed her today about it, living there for so many years, and her take on it. She has a real positive take on it, very positive take on it. And so, I mean, she spoke a lot about a lot of the things that were happening negatively by the time they had to basically ran out of it. But it would kind of it would go against what
the public perception of it is, right?
Yeah.
So the people of Pruitt-Igoe they have a really strong, like, they're really genuine with each other. They really strong. They still have a reunion to this day.
Right.
Because they came into something that was really good for them at the time.
Yeah,
the
exactly.
building itself, how they lived, it was kind of what we would consider luxuries from what they came from.
Definitely.
They had a lot of structure. And what they think and what you know is probably two totally different things from the people who were not as consumed with the chemical thing of it. To her, it was a lot of the drug relations that came about that separated the Pruitt from the Igos. A lot of the big time drug dealers that created a lot of crime began to live in the Igos, where they still live in the Pruitts. So it was a lot of different things going on of that nature.
Because it was like I said, there's a whole bunch of stories when it comes down to that, and that story is that, and I'm pretty sure that's one of those stories that come out of that. Because again, when the Igos got abandoned because of white flight, they left and started these municipalities, these small things that take you out of to take those tax dollars. You got also whenever there's an issue, just follow the money, right? The Wire said it best. Right, just follow the money. If you want to know, so if you follow the money, they take the money out of these small municipalities, and then they put their money and their tax dollars into their school systems. And you see why the school systems is popping in these certain areas, in the counties and things like that.
Killed the ancestor.
And then they blocked us from going there too.
She just killed the ancestor.
Jesus Christ.
Listen, it's got to go.
Superstar.
Hey man, we live here with Damien D. Smith, St. Louis homegrown, from Harlem, LA, and back again. Talking about Target, man. Some great information that he's putting out here on What Up Doe Radio this evening.
What up, Doe?
We're gonna take a slight break. I'm gonna talk to you some more, but we're gonna talk some What Up Doe Radio stuff too, man. So don't go nowhere, man. Everybody.
So,
what y'all want to hear?
On this break, everybody tried to kill this name.
No, I ain't killing the ancestor.
Nah, not me. I ain't doing it.
Ancestor would be that.
Man, I just got back from Ghana, man. They are tied into everything. They just taught me a whole nother way of life, man. I ain't supposed to do that.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that.
I see the song you finna pick though.
Little Ted Jennings,
That's
Teddy.
very,
What was it? Teddy
very
Jennings.
big that you
What you just said.
this story. I've only seen like YouTube clips of people that I know that live there, but a lot of them tend to have physical ailments as they've gotten older in age.
Oh wow.
Hold on, I check
No,
this
we
out.
cool. We ain't
No,
got
you got no. Hold on, no, babe, hold on. Plastic cup, and I just opened this up. Nah,
Well, what hell was she talking about? This shit was spicy.
give me another cup.
I have water in the car.
Bruh.
It's in the car, baby. Here.
Yeah.
What was your name on the show again? On Snowfall?
Thank you.
What you say?
Top notch. Let me get some of that water. Top notch.
Top notch. Here you go, man. Take that shot.
Give me the Cuban 2 top notch.
Okay, so
You the Black Panther too, like, on there. You
man.
Black Panther kind of sauce?
Hey man, Hotep.
so look,
What up, though?
we back live with Damien D. Smith.
Yo,
Do you prefer what do you prefer? whole
Damien D.
name?
Smith. Oh, like a pimp named Slickback. You know, Damien D. Smith.
Okay.
No, Damien, man.
That's his category.
No, Damien, man. Damien's.
So Damien, okay.
Yeah.
Damien, like I said, damn, Morgan, oh, she gone. She can't even read.
Didi, can you read
Can
it?
you read it? We started a new segment on What Up Doe already.
It's in our group.
Since we reaching the community so much, a lot of people been like, we always get people getting us letters and stuff about what's going on in their life, but lately I've been getting a big influence, and this one really like grabbed me. I'm gonna let. So Didi, can you read this?
I hope all is well with you and the show. Although you can see who I am speaking in confidentiality. I have a son that I've noticed his behavior is drastically changing. I'm almost sure he is involved in violent crimes. I've seen him hide guns around the house. I've confiscated them. He has no idea I see him doing this stuff. One minor, he is up and, 1 minute. He is up and lively, the next he's down. Gloves and ski masks are starting to become the norm. His dad is deceased from the same type of behavior. I really just don't know what to do. Can you guys give me some advice? An inbox I received today.
Wow.
As a parent, how do you attack that as a mom? And I know that you don't even know the gender of the person that sent this, so that's what was I know, but
Well, we do.
how?
Because she said
Because
his
she
dad
said
is
her
already
business.
Okay,
deceased.
all right.
But,
Maybe he could have been gay.
Can you make that?
I fucked up.
Shit, I missed that point.
It worked on fast then. Okay.
That's saying a whole lot.
the sad part is we don't know the age, because that does play a huge role. Another thing is, it seems like he's beyond.
Okay. He's 16.
That's scary. Because, I mean, at 16, you kind of know what you want to do. It's probably beyond somebody, like, forcing him to do it or peer pressure. He's doing something, but something had to happen first. We don't know what happened first to have him go down this path. Or, like, what can you really do? I wouldn't know what steps to take as far as violent crimes, ski masks.
The reason I thought this was good because Fat's always like saying like the parents need to be responsible and be held accountable for what their children doing.
But at this point, like, did she miss like not questioning her as a parent because she obviously wants help? Mm-hmm. What did she miss prior to this? Because I don't have boys. So, like, does your son wake up one day and he just begin to enter into violent crimes? Or were there things happening? Was there a different group of people walking around? Did he become angry after his father passed and nobody talked to him about it?
I think it's by me having a 16-year-old son and love. I mean, we can all. To me, it's like the company. I mean, we all going to raise our kids in our house a certain way. Mm-hmm. You know, once they get outside the house, you're going to know the company that they're around. You know, I mean, it's. They might be the head guy, but you gon' like, damn, you used to hang with people who play the game all day. Now you hanging out, they smelling like weed when they come in my house. So I'm gonna come to you then. Damn, bro, what's going on?
Right.
But once I find the guns, it's like we gotta have a talk.
All bets off.
Because nobody want to cut their kids off, but we got other kids.
Right.
So the example that you lead now, I can't have it in my household. Don't nobody want to kick their son out, man. You got to go. Look, bro, this what the fuck I found. You know what I'm saying? I had a cousin that was kicked out of the house. You know, I mean, on some real shit. My cousin stayed with my grandma. We was all be over there. Found this gun. That was your last day in the house. So it kind of taught me as 10 or 11, like, hey, I ain't trying to get kicked out. And like, so that's how I feel like. I mean, that's where I'm at with.
And then the guns, violent crime, ski masks, gloves. Like, if
since
you
we know,
robbing or
since we know it's a lady,
it don't matter.
Since we know it's a lady, and what you just said might sound more authoritative as a guy. What's a lady to do to her son?
T-Love?
That's all.
I mean, me would want to send her own child
supposed
to
pray
prison.
on her like
me, if you could move them out that environment, I'll say get them out that environment. I had a similar question asked to me about a 13-year-old. He wasn't caught with guns, but he was. He somehow, if he goes to somebody's house, he find the gun. Infatuated with guns.
Okay.
But I mean, my advice with her was to teach him, take him to a gun range and teach him the responsibility of what that gun means and what having a gun means. Because sometimes I don't think as a black community we do that enough.
At 13?
Yeah, because mostly white kids, I mean, they get.
Oh.
They be 9
No.
years.
I wasn't saying. I'm just saying at the age of.
They be 9 years old and get rifles for.
No, but I'm
for
saying
Christmas.
I'm saying with us at the age of 13, I don't know everybody's household, but I would think my kids weren't thinking nothing about no damn gun at the age of 13.
All right. Can I say something real quick?
Go
Check
ahead,
it out. So check it out.
D.
Hey, we are in. So again, we gotta look at it. We in America, man. America's a gun culture. So let's not. When I say culture, I mean culture is all encompassing when it comes to like TV, radio, music. You looking at movies. You looking at movies that we all love, man. Who don't love Die Hard? I love Die Hard, man. But he shot about 157
but
people up in Die
Hard. I never thought you were gonna get a gun
Hard.
when I was 13.
I know, but that's you though.
That's why I said in my house.
That's what I'm. But everyone's constant.
I wanted that gun.
Again, and then she wanted to pop off. You see this?
Scarface
Look at
the
this.
movie did more than Scarface the rapper for me.
Like Morgan Gangster
But
over
I
here.
think for me too, also, I would, if reading again, I would be more concerned about her saying one minute he's lively and the next minute he's not. Like, it's a possibility he may have some type of drugs,
right,
and
exactly.
some type of chemical induced going on.
And I guess
blame that
and that could kind of lead to all the other things.
I guess though,
so many children doing
the
drugs
chemically
right now.
induced. Like I get it where you're coming from. I just can't. Like to me, like that's like an easy cop out. Like maybe you was because the other one wasn't. Like how that happened to you?
I mean, but everybody's different though.
Yeah, everybody. But okay, so it just go back to the parenting. Like I can't let you do this. You can't do this in my household.
Okay, let me tell
flat
you.
out.
But we also have to, if we're gonna circle, if I may.
Go ahead.
But if we circle back and just even bring the media in this, I don't know if you all have been watching BMF, but this kind of happened. Terry and Meech are both selling drugs, obviously, and the mom is in denial that her good son, she's loving both of them, but she's in denial. Terry's like, no, I'm not dealing. No, you know, he's all of the signs are there, but she wants to believe her child. This lady, we don't know if she's confronted him. We just know that she has confiscated some things. We don't know if. I mean, I'm sure he knows if it's coming up missing. She probably did take it, but saying that his dad died this same way. This might be what he knows. This might be his uncle's. He might not have any male figure in his life. So I'm not a parent, but I can say that in an instance like this where she's reaching out for help, I definitely think, especially in St. Louis, we have a lot of programs that are geared towards helping our youth and getting them out of, especially black males, getting them out of these situations, because black ski masks, we can only imagine.
How do we do that though?
But
how do we get them in the programs?
Well, too, like. She probably needs to move him out of wherever they are right now. Like if she's able to, because that's another thing.
Right, might not be able to.
She might not be able.
That's a different thing.
And she sounds like she may be a little scared herself.
She does
right.
sound scared. I do.
And it's just so many different variables. I grew up on Gibson.
You don't say.
And, like right now it's the Grove, but when I grew up over there it was Gibson. And like I ain't gonna lie, my mother was doing okay for herself, and my dad, we ain't never like. I mean, if it was some government shit around the house, it's because we were trying to get over or something. It wasn't no motherfucking. we wasn't fucked up.
Right.
So, but my neighbors and my partners all was doing whatever they was doing, so it was so easy to get indulged into what they was doing. So, like, what do you do when, like, you don't even know what your child, like I'm coming in the house like, hey, yes, hey, Eddie Haskell, no, it fine, everything's good. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so you saying
I
she
just
didn't
know,
know?
just now, like when I was just living off of Salisbury.
Oh man, Salisbury.
There were a lot of young kids always at the gas station trying to come up, and it's because they was doing drugs. And so, like, we don't believe that kids are doing drugs very easily, but drugs now are like as simple as popping pills. It's as simple as going into your mama cabinet and getting some Percocets,
right.
So it's becoming so addictive that it does. Like, I've had clients, male clients, that come in the salon and literally they like dozing off, or they're making crazy decisions.
I had a boy who used to doze off.
Pills, or they sipping syrup or something like that. So I would personally myself first find out if something is happening with him there.
So before you do that, does anybody, like, because the last thing you said, do you guys have any advice?
I said reach out to the mentors. There's a lot of different, I can look up the organizations for it, but there are a lot of organizations, even with 100 Black Men and all those other ones, they can connect you with different inner city, I don't know where they reside, but they help impoverished and people that are not the less fortunate, pretty much. So look into that. Look into getting him into an activity. He's still living with her. He's probably young enough to be, doing something in school. You don't know if maybe he's going through a depression, and so he decided, I want to follow my dad. I want to try to follow my dad and be different. You know what I mean? We don't know what he's going through, so having him have someone to talk to, and I don't think she's that person. Not that, you know what I mean? Just because they're different.
But so. I just don't want nobody to feel like we saying it because it's she. Now, I'm not saying y'all saying it. I just don't want nobody to feel like just because it's a she that she can't do what a man can do in a situation.
No, I'm not saying
that. Like. But if he's putting your foot down is putting your foot down.
But if he's in that space, I don't believe that.
Once I found the ski mask, it's like we gotta have this talk right now.
But you didn't hear that fear in her message.
Yeah, because
I was scared of my mama.
That would be
my daddy was like,
you don't want to go to bed. You don't know what is traveling behind him.
But, okay, so
to me, and maybe I'm wrong.
Back to kind of like what Dirty said. I mean, that y'all know my stance. Yeah. If you find a ski mask and guns and you in my house, I have to assume that you out here robbing or killing somebody.
Yeah.
So if it's like, if I don't bring that to you, or at least have Dee or Dirty or somebody else, yeah, maybe it ain't me to bring it to you, but I can call my I can call your uncle or somebody else you can call.
It has to be a male.
It ain't even gotta be no male, because most of us, which y'all probably understand, I was more scared of my mama than I was my daddy at that age.
Not when you already had a ski mask, guns, and all
Yeah,
that.
I gotta go with that with Megan.
That don't happen because your daddy ain't in the house. I mean, people do that.
No, I'm not saying that.
No, wait, hold on, wait, I'm sorry. Clarify that again.
I'm saying that don't happen because the father's not in the house.
It's a higher probability of it happening when there's a father not in the house. We got to be clear about
Mr. Actor, you might be right.
No, we got this is we got to be clear about these situations. Cause I do a lot of civic engagement, and mentorship, and so yeah, it's a high when there's a father in the home. The probability of you having a ski mask and a gun in the house plummets.
I agree.
That's just what it is.
Okay, I agree.
It's so crazy that we've been conditioned to think that dad not around is just something cool. Like, that's just how it is. And it's like, if there's an authoritative figure in the household that's showing you how to build your credit and keep a job or be responsible, there's a highly chance that you are gonna follow it like that's part of the norm. But if you don't have that around, you have to discover the world for yourself, then there's a chance that you're gonna make a lot of mistakes.
But it don't have to be a man though. That's all I'm saying. It don't have to be a man.
No, it's again, like I'm saying, we're not talking about it has to be a man.
I just
of
don't
course,
want it to be an easy cop
it's not an easy cop. Like, I was raised with my grandmother, right? Like, my grandmother.
Most of us was. I was
no,
too.
I got you. I see what you're saying, but luckily I had my grandfather there, who was a guy who woke up and went to work every day. So you had something to look at to hold on. But I come from a community, Like I'm from the north side of St. Louis, man.
Okay.
Off Kings Highway in West Florida, man. So I'm
You gonna drop a bomb for that?
Off Rosalie. Oh, please do so. I mean, that should be all type of bombs dropped for the north side.
Yeah, that was the wrong bomb.
Oh.
I think he pushed the wrong
That's
button
a
on
sad-
it.
From the west side.
it's a sad
He from the
day.
west side.
It's a sad day. Well, that makes sense. You did that. Then. But
Check it out, D. Check it out, D.
no, but no, hold on
Go
one
ahead, go
second.
ahead,
I got you. But I'm just saying. But when there's a male influence in the house, no matter what the situation is, it's going to have a different set of rules. You know, because your mother provides a certain element your mother can provide, and your father provides this. Or if it's not your father's, you got your uncles, you got your grandfather, like what I had,
Okay.
and then you have things like that. But there's a football coach, there's something. But you need to have somebody with testosterone that you are scared of to a degree. At a certain point, because
Or
that's
a
for
mother
real.
who does
You're not
not
scared
let
of
up.
and let's be straight up.
agree.
You ain't scared of your mama after 12, really. She can't. I mean,
That's not true.
physically
You don't
scared
know-
of.
you don't
She
know
only
Glenn
can whoop you
Jackson.
to a degree. Now, look, we went through the extension cords, we went through all that, but after a minute, you done with
Man.
that. You have to have that
wasn't
But
type
your,
of guidance.
your level of wanting to
Okay,
disappoint your
okay.
mom after a certain age, I believe, is still
That was
greater.
the biggest fear.
Listen.
Yeah,
That's the
your
mind game.
level of wanting
But
to
that comes
disappoint
with
your
a
parent.
real.
Yeah.
That comes with a parent
That
that
comes with a
understands
parent
that
that's-
psychologically
yes.
I have to have some type of element, and,
Yeah.
and the fear is not only going to last.
I
But that's
understand
but
what y'all
again,
saying.
that's
This can't
parenting.
be no
But
excuse, though.
parenting is a man and a woman. I mean,
But
not
that's-
even just a
Do
man
you
and
feel
woman.
like
It's
okay?
a process.
Let me ask you
It's
this
a dual
though.
element.
So do you feel like in that case a woman should go find somebody to help raise you? Then
No.
I'm lost then.
No, it's easy. I can. No,
No,
it's,
he's not
I
saying
can answer
that a
that.
woman can't do it. He's
That's
just
pretty much
saying-
what he's
No,
saying.
he-
He
no,
just-
not-
no.
no.
So
I can answer that.
I can
He's
answer that
definitely
for
not-
you, brother.
If there's a man
Right.
in the
No,
building,
I can answer that
He's
easily.
not
for you.
generalizing the
or
statement.
a man is not going to like you probably couldn't have walked
Right.
inside in front of your father with a ski mask. He probably would have beat the crap out of you.
Not even just that, but
Well, I can do it from my mother.
No problem. I can answer your question.
Go
you
ahead.
know,
Go ahead.
Clearly from what you just said. I didn't say that it was. I said the probabilities go down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
so
got-
all I'm
so
saying is,
one
so
second.
shouldn't somebody go get? If we know the probabilities, that's out there.
Okay,
right?
let's go with that
And
number
it's-
because the
let's just say-
numbers usually tell you to tell the story
Since, listen,
easy.
since Didi is next to me, let's say it's Didi.
Okay.
Right? Single mother. She knows she got this man. She knows she got this boy now. He's 12 years old. She knows the probabilities of what you're saying.
Yeah.
That means at some point she should go out and try to find him a male figure to be in his life.
Well, if
I think
it
so.
can be, she can find a figure. Yes.
Yes, I do.
I think you have to have the. You know, your representation is real. Like that's one of the reasons I tell the stories the way I tell the stories. You need to be your hair needs to be represented in something. You need to have a representation of what's because you know what you follow.
It's her in my drink, but I'm still gonna drink it.
I mean, because you real to it.
If
That's
I
all
had
good.
my
You know
own
what? You know
son,
no.
I would-
Let
That's
me tell you why
kinda
representation is real.
But
Representation of real. The representation of success in the hood was our brothers that was slanging, right?
That's true.
And
That's
that's what we gravitated to, and that level of criminality. Now, listen, I'm not knocking it because I'm from the north side, so I understand it. I understand how we got here, but we got to also recognize what it is. Hey, this West Side ass dude keep on hitting that goddamn dong show ass goddamn.
We only got about 4 things to hit, man.
You know what I'm saying?
But seriously,
You
if
see
I
what I'm
was
saying?
to
Go ahead,
give
go
her
ahead,
some
love.
real
Hold on, hold on.
advice,
Hold on.
My
Go ahead,
first,
love.
if I was
Oh,
to
go
give
ahead.
her some real advice, my first advice would be to her to try to sit down and have a conversation with her son to find out what's going on, because a lot of what she's saying too is what she think is happening. Like she said, think he's in violent
she's
crimes.
confiscated
I
guns.
think but she doesn't know like. He could be the kid that's hiding guns from other people for other
But
people.
at the same
You got the
time,
gun,
you're
man.
right because
Or he trying to stay safe.
or he might be trying
In
to
his
send
mind.
her a message,
Or trying
Yes.
to fit in.
like mama.
So like talk
All
to
that.
me, because I mean a lot. Again, we have to remember our kids have just went through one of the most depressing states of their lives, something we've never been through. A lot of parents have been depressed themselves, so there may have been a lot of time lapse where they were just coming and going and not.
We need to
really
call
seeing
in.
each
She
other
need to call in.
live.
With the fake voice.
But if she still is, if she's not in fear of her son, and she still feels like she can reach him as his mother, I think she really should sit down and have a real conversation with him. Not accusatory, just really sit down and talk to him and ask him what is happening, what's going on. Is there something I need to know, because I can protect you from whatever's going on.
That was a great
I
message.
100% agree. Oh, he might could have had all that just for TikTok.
Hey, I want listen.
because-
Listen.
That all could have been just for
Listen,
TikTok.
listen.
You know what
I
I'm saying?
agree 100%.
like mama.
But I don't
I was
understand
just
how to put on skirt of my
stunned,
kids.
So I wanna ask this question.
Have you been scared of your kids, love?
Tie this back to your documentary. Earlier you touched on this, and I touched on the fact that they went through a lot of things to get into the housing, and one of the requirements obviously was that just like what's the movie? Is it Claudine? She couldn't. You couldn't be.
The man couldn't be in the home.
Man couldn't be in the home.
Yeah.
And if he was, then the food stamps and all that was cut off, right?
Yes, the social assistance.
So we talked. You touched on it, but can you kind of go in, because you said everybody knows, but I actually don't think everybody does know about that and about how that was designed and how that system and why it is so important to have that. Not saying that because things happen, but that's why we want to try to look at it. Representation matters.
Okay, couple things. Those are two issues, I think, because representation matters, and then also we got to talk about like Cointelpro. We got to talk about those systems that were put in place. Hoover is a real is a factor.
Herbert Hoover.
No. Hey, listen, I'm a Dickies guy myself anyway. You know what I'm saying? So if people from the north side understand.
Hoover.
Hold on a second. Okay, we good. We Gucci. We ain't get the sound. But you play for both. It's all good. Hey man, we got Zeke doing his thing. From Matthew Dickies. Come on, man. He with the star. Exactly. So listen.
Here we go. The whole show finna change in a minute.
Oh man, it's just
New City is his own little code.
Oh man.
Representation matters, right?
Go ahead, my brother.
I'm going to representation. And what was the other point we said? The first one, it was represent. And Cointelpro. So Cointelpro is a system that put in place for it was that Hoover would put Cointelpro in place to disrupt and help take down things that they themes were threat to American society back in the day. So that's what Cointelpro was, and most of the time, what was threats to American society was African American progress, and that's what they infiltrated, which they infiltrated the BLA, the Black Liberation Army, the Black Panthers, all these organizations that were fighting for upward mobility for African American community in which that we were going through. So if you want to check out some references, check out the autobiography of Assata Shakur, which is a great book to read. I think all young women should read that book. Actually, you have CS one. That's a phenomenal book to read. You can read, and also of course we all know that Malcolm X told too about Ivan Ailey, all those types of things. So Alex Haley, I'm sorry, Jesus Christ. But anyway, though, so that COINTELPRO also went into, there was an organization, there was a time period in which that, like these systematic elements were that African American men could not be in the household for women to receive governmental assistance, and this was a time also around Reaganomics and all those type of time periods. So all these were policies that were put in place by politicians at that time. So we got to know all that. So that all was a time that was all around those times when it comes to the Pruitt Igo. I think that's what we're speaking about, Megan, right? Okay, and then representation matters again. I mean, we all know that. I mean, I kind of like bringing things to the common denominator, like my engineering days. My engineering days, right? So the Cat in the Hood, we looked at the dude who had the beats, the shine. That's what he was representation of success. So when you looked at when you as a 10, 11, 9, 8-year-old cat in the hood running around, you look what success is, you're looking at that dude. You're not looking at like if you were in the stocks, or if you're not looking at if you're into the hustle. So that's why we need to have in our communities people who own local businesses in our communities, because we need representation that success can be attained so many different ways. And engagement. So that's what I'm saying.
I agree. My thing to that now is that we're talking about something that's been happening for, let's just say 50 years. Okay, I'm just going to say 50 years.
Okay.
You as a parent now, and all of us at this table, we know that that's not successful.
What's not?
The big chains and everything you just said.
We know. Okay, gotcha.
Okay, we know that. Mm-hmm. So if we know that already, I don't care if you're a woman or a man, you telling your son that or daughter that that's not that. So, like Dirty said, I'm gonna blame the parents. Mm-hmm. If my son come home with the ski mask and the guns and he go commit a crime, that's not my fault. Why not?
I mean, it can't. I agree with you.
Wait.
I agree.
Only if you're in my household, love. If you're in my household doing that shit and I know it,
I still don't.
Hold on now. I can see what you're talking about, and I agree with you. I mean, and this is said out of love, brother. So I can see what you're talking about. You got to look at certain elements, right? So you can have two brothers who came up in the same household out of the same conditions that you took two separate routes, man. That just comes to like so are the parents at fault for the good one and not the bad one? Or the bad one or not the good one? What responsibility lie? You know, all you can do is provide. But hold on one second. This is what I'm saying. So you got the parents saying one thing, right? And you got society saying everything else. So society has a propaganda and has a machine built that have done case studies, had focus groups. They've done everything to tell you what they want to tell you. So whatever they want to tell you is what they're gonna receive. Now, if you gotta understand the time period, like how we're getting out of how we're developing as human beings, especially African Americans. Like we just got out of this, we got out of Jim Crow, then we got out to this period, we got to this upward mobility is what we're working at now. If you look at it now, I guess especially since look how much we're engaged now. It's constantly progressing. I know it ain't progressing at the point that we want to see it, but I see progress.
Right.
And that's what we got to focus on, man, and keep on pushing forward because there's a lot of things that could and should and could be, but if we going forward, I think that's what we should focus on.
I understand.
I definitely
ahead,
think that parents should have some liability though, and
Yeah.
I say that only because. Just like with her, even her asking for advice is liability. Like she's taking some type of responsibility because it's so many parents that are not. It's so many parents that are totally aware that their children are doing things and they are not taking no initiative. So I think if parents had that pressure on them, like if your child is under a certain age and these things are happening and you are not taking any steps to get some type of help for that or trying to figure out what's going on, then these consequences will happen to you as well. It will light the fire under some of these parents who are just allowing some things to
Drop
happen.
a clues bomb for Didi right now.
No, that's what. No, parent. I'm not saying they dissolved any responsibility. They definitely got responsibility.
Go ahead, love. But
Because I see what you mean.
Yeah, you gonna as much as I feel like as much as parents, you can only do as much as you could do as a parent, and you gotta hope that when you go out there. For me, it was that my grandmother was like, if you want to go meet your tea, was like their mother. Like she stayed on me. I still did what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
On me. Yep. But her staying on me gave me conscience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But still, it was by the grace of God and that I could have got caught up.
Yeah.
But God.
But
That's
that's
a
what
good point.
But that's what I mean by your
point, though.
grandmother staying on you.
But look,
that's a person that was still showing responsibility. There are some parents that's why I said even this woman, she may not be saying a whole lot to her son, but just the ideal that she's reaching out for some type of help shows I don't just want my son out here being a menace.
I agree.
There are parents that are just out here letting their children be menace and they know
Let me
it's
piggyback
happening.
this though, love. When you was doing what you was doing, what if you would have known that if you got caught, your grandma had to do 2 years?
Right.
Would you have done something different though, bro? Like on some real shit?
If it was gonna affect your
Savage in these streets.
I'm just saying, like, man, like, I'm using grandma.
When we said grandma
it took
got
me a
2
while.
years.
I'm just
No,
happy.
we ain't. They don't think.
Because you gotta
They ain't
understand.
thinking past that. I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother. I'm
You
sorry.
understand money too. That's another form of addiction.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like I done seen my grandmother get thrown on the floor by the
But
police.
we're talking
Still didn't
about-
stop me.
We talking about killing people. Like you wasn't out here killing people and robbing
I'm
people.
thinking of violent
and
crimes,
committing
love.
violent
I'm thinking of
He
like.
did
But-
look-
But you also got to
we still
understand.
He said he did.
But if you in that world and you dealing in that gang,
what
any
you
of that
put
can
your
happen
quarter-
at any
But
second.
torture.
But
if
also, you gotta
thought-
look at-
or if
you
you
talking
thought,
about-
like,
I was
something-
ready for it.
something
If it
devastating.
had to go there, I mean, I was ready for it to go there.
For your grandma to
But
get
you
locked up.
wasn't thinking.
No, but you're
you
talking.
I know, I'm
about-
saying.
And also, you're not. They're not thinking. They're not
It's
thinking
saying-
past. You look how many different steps you got to think past to think about your grandma getting locked up for
But
2
if
years.
you knew that, like if you knew that going
If
in,
there was
you
a
knew-
law right now,
like, I
if you
get
was a
caught
minor-
selling drugs, my grandma is going to jail for 18 years, not me. The ideal that it's gonna be my grandmother.
It'll
May
make you
It's gonna
stop
fuck
you.
your whole
Now,
world
why
up.
I'm saying,
Depending on your
why-
relationship
why
with your
you
grandma.
in it?
Your
You
family.
You're not thinking it's gonna hit your
You-
grandma. Like you would have never thought your grandma was gonna be thrown on the ground. But if you knew going in, they gonna fuck my
Let me
grandma.
say this,
I'm
Dirk.
just saying,
Hold
you
on.
think you should have a
Well,
system?
no,
What I'm saying is, I
We're
did
just
that.
saying, y'all
Let me say
think
this.
it would be
Hold on.
cool to have a system where
But
somebody
it's also-
responsible for your well-being.
But
That's-
No.
But it's some. It
No.
is some instances where people are. I've known people to lose their houses.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know,
You
what
had
I'm
housing
saying?
authority, you're gonna lose your
You
house.
know, I mean, it just depends. You ain't got to be on housing authority.
But you got to think, who knew that? I'm just saying, like, when people were selling drugs out of their grandma's house, okay, you got a big family. Let's say you, if I'm John, I knew you was selling drugs out of grandma's house, bro. If you get caught, grandma going down, bro.
Yeah.
Like, nigga, you out of here.
Even if
Like,
you did
bro,
it one time.
you gotta go, bro.
Yeah.
You heard what he
gotta
said
go.
though? First though, money. So if I'm
let's
putting all these
But I'm getting you
band-aids
up out of here,
over,
though.
Start-
You wouldn't be doing
start-
this under me, though.
Let me tell you though.
Your mama
is-
would
let
have
me
went
tell
to
you though,
prison
who is you?
one
I'm
time
start-
for
in this
something
scenario.
you
The
did.
parent.
You probably
Listen.
would have never done it.
Parent,
Start-
exactly,
listen.
you gotta go.
I feel like
Listen.
You going to prison
All right,
may
there
be
we go.
something
Listen
totally
though,
different because you might
but now
cancel
if
it,
you
but
start
your
looking
mom-
at these indictments, even if
everybody else mama was
if
going,
you
it
look at
might-
BMF indictment, they daddy went to jail.
Right.
They daddy went to jail.
right?
They-
I don't know how they making them think
Now
that he
they're,
had to do with it.
if you benefiting off of it, everybody going.
And I think
they
that's,
already
and you know what,
incriminated
love, but love, I think that's what I was getting back to. Like, without saying it, some people condone it because they actually profiting from it too. So, I guess it's already kind of like a rule in play. But I think it's like if you was like younger, it ain't got to be no big ass indictment. You know what I'm saying? But like when you a minor, bro, and you in school and they saying, look, man, he doing this, he doing that. Like if you ain't trying to get help then when he gets 16, he done robbed somebody, he done did this. It's like, when do we hold you responsible? Because you had to know this shit. And if you didn't,
Well, how do you hold them responsible?
I don't know.
because they got the ski mask and the guns and us,
Yes,
you have to go.
How do you hold? Like, what do you do?
Hey man, can I do this in my
Let me
household?
let me ask this question in the opposite way. If her son, if he was out, that's not good at all. If
He
he
gone.
was outside
He dead.
doing something reckless and just based on just the message, and something happens to somebody else out of his recklessness, and she never did anything, because right now she really kind of know it's something happening. So just say that's there, and then something really does happen. Most of us would probably feel like she owes some responsibility to it, because like, but what is the responsibility that she owes to it? I guess is what all of us trying to figure out.
Maybe it should be a hotline. Let's hypothetical 1-800.
They're all highlights.
Okay,
Because you don't want to send
Let's
your
say-
own child to prison. That will be harsh as a mother. No one would, and prison is no reform. Like we know, prison doesn't do anything.
let's say it was
for
the church you
anybody.
called.
It is
I
a
called the
reform.
church 3 times, right? I called my church 3 times.
saying.
Tell me with my son.
It's available.
It didn't get me nowhere. Okay, the responsibility is off for you now because you tried to do something.
Yeah, you
I'm just
tried
giving.
to do
I'm just giving.
Yes, that's what I meant.
Listen, I called him.
There's no way we can
him
have
and
any
her.
robotic, like, for kids. I mean, for human action, you can't have any robotic, like, that's the solution. Because we're trying to generalize everything. Like, it's
It's
just,
no one way.
But a lot of times it is that.
it's
though,
no way
love.
you can make another person who has free will of thought be responsible for someone else's action.
But I can't. Okay.
But we feel
What
like
do you
your
mean by
child
People
is
get
16 don't
comfortable-
have free will.
People
and
get
thought.
comfortable
They
when their
kinda
parents
do,
let them do
Child
it.
living
man.
in your house can't do whatever they want to do when they want to do it,
can't.
right?
No.
Mine can't either.
If they did, look, what would you
You're
do?
saying just the fact that humans have that ability.
Yes.
Kick that
So
ass.
not even as an adult. But right, so what he just said in counter.
After you
going
kick
back
their
to
ass so
what
many
he said.
times, like he said, look,
You gotta go.
look.
And I have
If
to
your
put you
son was
out.
Then you
16
gotta go.
and you found the ski mask and the guns, once you come to him and you take the guns and the ski mask and you find some more 2 weeks later, what do you do then?
But it's just like if we keep going back to
I wanna hear
BMF,
Love answer.
his mother said, you got to go.
What you gonna do then, love?
Kick his ass again.
And after you kick his,
I'm gonna keep on kicking his ass.
And
he done
honestly,
shot
though-
10
But
niggas.
honestly, though, I don't disagree with that.
Me neither.
Because if
Yeah,
that's
you can't
my
be under
child,
my
that's
household
my
no
seed, and you're my responsibility, and I don't want you to go this way because
Right. I'm going to hurt you
I
before
don't want to
somebody
just
else
put
hurt
you out. Now, of course, that's probably going to be the last option, but I'm going to do my due diligence as a parent because you came from me. So I'm going to do because it is my responsibility. Like you said, you do have free will and all that, but you are still, I'm not going to say my property, but you came from me and you're in my house. And if something happens, just like if you go wreck a car, I'm going to have to probably pay for that.
Yeah.
If you go hit somebody, they calling me. You are my
I'm still
responsibility.
responsible for you.
So because you're my responsibility, I'm going to do whatever it is that I feel that I need to do. And if that's not getting to you and now you're threatening my home, you got to go.
So my whole thing, what you just said, you my responsibility, right? So if you out here doing some bullshit and you hurt somebody else, why ain't I responsible for it?
I didn't say that.
No, I'm just asking the question
Oh, I
in
agree with
general. Like why ain't I responsible for it?
You know what I love
I mean,
about
people
this?
make their own decisions.
This is like
Yeah.
this right here is a prime example of why parenting is important. You need to have that masculine and feminine energy. You have two contradicting conversations, but it's for the good and the will of an individual. And it usually fall in the middle what's going to happen, right? Of the two, two adults. I just wanted to point that out.
You just stole Dirty whole thing he was finna say. Dirty was just finna say that.
Damn.
Guy wrote it down.
My apologies.
And you gotta play. And
so
one
listen,
thing too, as parents, I believe you gotta pay close attention to who your kids
Dirty.
run with.
One more time. Say that one more time, love.
You gotta pay close attention to who your kids run with.
Dirty, can I segue into something else real quick that we was talking about a little earlier? You probably want to talk about the thing with Travis Scott, my responsibility.
That's not a segue. That's just like
That's what I did.
You just jumped off the whole track. That's not a segue.
I had a whole saying. I was like, my grandma used to say, "Association brings on assimilation." To this brother's point, that wasn't even
You
your
want us to
stuff.
pause? You want to get that out?
No, I'm done. We done now.
But
I mean, that's my grandma used to say that real though. She say association brings on assimilation. No matter what. So who you hang out with is going to grow. No matter what, it's either going to be conscious or subconscious. It's going to be conscious or unconscious. You're going to absorb it, no matter what. I mean, it's going to. You can't do nothing about it.
I'm gonna show you how to segue what you talking about.
You want a commercial?
No.
Go ahead,
Dirty. Commercial. Like,
Go ahead, Dirty.
You want to talk about having accountability and things being out of your control, what other people do. Then you can bring up the Travis Scott thing.
Man, you ever wrote that down too?
No.
That was pretty.
I'm just trying to save you, man.
But thank you, sir, because you done saved me a lot on the show. I just want to say thank you.
You're welcome.
So if y'all don't know about the Travis Scott, everybody know about the Travis? Well, just y'all not listening. So basically at a concert, 8 people died, RIP to all them. But they trying to hold him responsible for this. And I'm really lost on how is this his fault?
Go ahead. We want to hear.
I don't feel like they did it to Michael Jackson.
Go ahead.
That was a year where 5,000 people fainted, 23 died when Michael Jackson had the concert.
Wow.
They didn't do it to him. I mean, when you have large crowds like that without a whole bunch of control, you may run into stampedes. You may run into crowds. I can remember one time being at what did we used to have?
Check it down.
No, the football thing that we used to do down at the Dome.
Oh, the Gateway Class.
Gateway Class. And somebody was fighting and he threw a trash can and everybody thought they was shooting and they started running. It was a gang of people stampede. Like that was the crazy.
You can't blame the coach.
You can't blame the coordinators of the Gateway Classic. So I feel as if he holds no responsibility to that.
But who is responsible? Is it the?
Well, we're not gonna say because they might cut our shit off.
Who, Nelly?
Nah.
I
think Live Nation. Like what you mean?
Yeah,
they way over us, bro. They way over us. They be like, no. If you're gonna blame anybody, why not blame the promoters, bro? I walk out here and I perform, right? You do acting. If it's only 5 people in the crowd, I still gotta come perform.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So
he didn't do anything that caused the stampede or the death or the needle injections. He didn't do anything to cause. Oh yeah, it was people. It was like a security guard that got needle injected with some type of
somebody.
Type of just yeah.
So here's the thing. The reason and people that when you really get into the entertainment industry, and you hear about this. This isn't something new. We're just talking about it so much because it just happened and because of they're trying to add in some of the things with COVID and the vaccinations and people being here and people gathering and all of that, and they're trying to make an example. But this happens more often.
Example of Travis Scott.
A lot of celebrities, when you have a concert and things like that, they get sued for stuff like this that happens. I'm sure in that Michael Jackson class, someone did sue him. It happens. They're going to go after who has the most money. Is it right? No, but I also think there are certain things and clauses and things like that they sign up for when they decide to do things. So of course it's probably going to be on the promoters as well. But that's what happens.
But I think that if I'm not mistaken, that it was really about being too many people there. Like,
that's what I just said.
But listen, I don't do that.
He didn't do that.
I'm a performer.
No.
I don't do that. I just come.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
But my whole thing, like I asked Dirty earlier, then if they doing Travis Scott for this, why they didn't do it to Trump?
Well, come on.
And then what is? I mean,
I'm just saying, like on January 6th, like
liability
that
for
was
yourself?
way worse.
If I walk into a crowd like that, I'm not taking my 10-year-old in a crowd like that.
Told me that. Well,
So like, what is your
like,
own responsibility?
Because
to
you feel like a concert is a safe place.
No, I don't.
If I'm going, I don't think Travis Scott is no Lil Durk. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a big difference.
You don't know when something is too crowded for you. Like, I'm 40.
Diddy, the tickets cost
me
me $500.
I'm about to be 44 years old. I'm
tickets
not
cost
walking
$500.
to a club
That costs how much?
that seems overcrowded
No, this
to
thing
me.
is high.
Because I think about the probability of something happen popping off.
I would never think that we're
And
finna get
everybody
trampled to
can.
death.
Why wouldn't you think that?
No, I wouldn't
I get
think
what you're
that.
saying.
I would never think trampled to death.
Yeah, because I've been to
Like-
classic concerts.
I've been. It's. You go.
And the age shit-
I've been
the age
to
don't
festivals
matter.
and things
What
like-
I'm saying,
you
your
don't think
mind
of being
frame is gonna
trampled.
think if something happens, you will get stampeded.
I mean, yeah, you're in it, you're in that, but that ain't the mind frame you in, because that ain't what you came there for.
Exactly.
You came there for a whole nother world. You in astro world, man. You in a whole different
finna
vibe
kick-
right
I
now.
might-
We about to kick you. They on all type of things, uppers, downers, left, rights, all type of.
That's the problem.
That's
That's what I
what-
be
that's
thinking.
what-
That's why my
But
10-year-old wouldn't be there.
No, I'm gonna tell you my 10-year-old over there because
That's why
Astroworld is
my
on
10-year-old
Fortnite.
wouldn't be there.
Astroworld was on Fortnite.
Yeah.
So
Right.
most kids, I want to go to Travis. It was on Fortnite.
But you gotta make
it's
some
possible.
type of conscious decision as a parent.
Yeah, but
I'm
it's
not
not
taking
a
my
responsibility.
10-year-old. Yes, I'm not
Oh, but
taking my
now
You know what? You know
10-year-old
what?
there.
Wait a minute.
I don't know.
I probably
Nine-year-old.
wouldn't take him.
Listen,
Listen,
RIP to that.
listen. I probably wouldn't take him.
Definitely RIP.
I probably wouldn't take
Jesus
him now.
Christ.
But from my knowledge, it's been a regular person that's not in all the internet shit. I didn't know of anybody else from Travis Scott concerts getting trampled. Now, if this happened in the last 3 cities, okay, I shouldn't have went. This was the first time that I know that this happened.
You might
So
not even know who that dude Travis Scott is. You a parent? Like I get it,
Right.
but you know
we're going to
that's
Astro
how you
World.
go. Okay,
Drake
go to
was
Astro.
there.
So responsibility lies on
Yeah,
who
they
then?
going at Drake.
Structure
Well,
or
They
it's
going at
gonna
Drake,
come down-
too.
Well, a lot of things. Is
so
happening
nothing
with
broke down. It was just trampled.
They were moving forward. He came on the stage and the crowd started moving forward. And as the crowd started moving forward, people were stampeded because they're running towards something.
Who don't do that?
Everybody does. So like, that's why I said you would have
a
to
9-year-old
look.
kid got
passed
Can you
away.
imagine?
8 people got
Well,
killed.
no, I think he's actually in a coma. I see the family is hiring
I wish-
Benjamin Crump to
I
go
would-
after
I would-
Travis
That's what
Scott.
I'm saying.
Man,
As-
y'all going, they
as a
going too
parent,
far.
you're thinking so
You're going
like
too far.
even
Going
when
too
my
far. No,
daughter
it's
went
there's
to
insurance
just
companies.
went to
Man,
the
you're
Lil
going too
Durk
far.
game.
Hold up.
There is insurance. This is.
There's mechanisms in place.
But the way that the media is trying to crucify him, do we agree with that collectively? No, no one does. There's different clips that they're not showing to everyone, but there's different clips. None of the major outlets are trying to show them where he actually stops his show and he's like, "Hey, stop," because somebody passed out, and this was before I guess certain things were happening. But keep in mind, as many people.
If he didn't say stop, Morgan, this is my thing. We just went to after party with Nelly.
Shouldn't have been, yeah.
No, we just went to after party with Nelly. If they'd have broken there and started fighting, somebody got hit and hit about and they got killed, how can I blame T Love and Nelly for that? They had
I'm not
nothing.
saying you should.
No, I'm just saying they had nothing to do with that.
I mean,
Nothing.
I think we come to the
But
point
I've
at the
seen
table
like
that's-
Morgan said. I mean, it happens a lot. But what I don't see happen is never seen happen is you got people saying cancel him.
Yeah, the way he
You
did.
got they're pulling endorsements. Like you said, Fortnite. They took Astroworld off Fortnite. Like
That's crazy.
you know, then people trying to paint him as being demonic.
Demonic, yeah,
No,
saying
yeah.
that it was sacrifice. It was crazy.
Like it was sacrificial and like what?
That's why all we gonna make is like 20 million here. We ain't gonna go all the way.
Right. Once we go over 30 million, we in trouble.
Yeah, like-
I'm suing Love. I get over 30 million.
21.5 is
Yeah,
this.
like we gonna chill out after we gonna go our separate ways after that. Yeah.
You know, but he is really a huge artist. A lot of people, I know you probably don't listen.
Yeah,
to
mega star.
but
He's a rock
he's
star.
got
He a rock star.
He's a rock star.
He's
Who has a billionaire wife?
Wife.
Right?
Right.
baby mama.
Baby mom.
I mean, you know what? He
Love
offered.
one.
He offered to pay for the funerals,
Yeah.
and I felt like
And I
that was
think that's
no.
good.
But I felt like he shouldn't have did that
He
though,
didn't have to do
No.
it.
Why?
because I
You
think
feel like that's admitting fault?
that's admitting fault. I would have listen. If I would have done it, I would have gave the money to the what's the name people like. Look, y'all here y'all go, pay for that, because when they come back to that civil, they gonna say that you feel like you would. Why would you pay for that?
I would do it too.
If it would no,
Terry
I wouldn't do
and
it
me.
publicly.
It's
would
still
do
the
it.
right thing to do.
I would do it because it's the right
but
thing
not
to
when I'm
do.
getting sued.
Terry and Meach paid for the little dude funeral. on.
You silly.
I'm just saying.
I ain't caught up on it. I
To
can't
me,
wait, man.
to me, I feel like that's you admitting some guilt because it's like
I think that's your way of thinking.
You know,
'cause I don't think that.
there's ways.
I'm gonna let the concert promoters handle
Or
that,
it could
man.
just be simple compassion.
That's what I'm saying. I
there's
would do
people
that.
who
That's
do, you
compassion.
know,
I would.
Yeah.
That's why they hired Benjamin Crump to show that it wouldn't like we finna fight all the way now. Like, and it shouldn't be
You
that.
also know people also trying to make a come up. Like,
Yeah.
This man ain't broke, so you know what they.
Are those type of, like, I mean,
I don't
because
know
they
if-
would have to go to like clauses on tickets. Like, I mean, don't they say they relinquish any type of lawsuits or
But not
something
me?
happens? Or,
Okay, yeah.
Like to the people who are coming. Like if you read the fine print on your ticket, it usually removes all that
Yeah, normally
liability.
it's
What if I was to open the act? You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all suing me too? Real talk. They trying to sue Drake.
Yeah.
Yeah, Drake was
They are
opening
trying.
act.
Yeah, they trying to
No,
sue
Drake,
him
he wasn't even
out.
on
came
stage
out.
then.
Yeah.
They suing Drake too.
They
Come on,
trying to sue
man.
him
Did
as
everybody-
well.
I didn't know. I don't know.
Did
They
everybody
suing Drake
I'm just
too.
ignorant of it. Okay.
did everybody hear Kanye's interview?
Yes.
Oh
Yep.
man, I just watched that.
Bits and pieces.
I love him.
Describe it in one word.
Awesome. Freeing.
That's 2 words.
Freeing first then.
Awesome.
Awesomely
free.
freeing.
I can't do it.
Crazy.
You took my word.
I can't do it in one word. I can tell you. I can wrap up what.
Well, do what you need to do, Morgan. Go ahead.
In a nutshell,
No, do it in one word.
being rich, being wealthy, allows you to do whatever the hell you want to do. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's what you got from the interview?
That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say.
I think Kanye
go
West
back
is
to
a
one word.
very
I love
deep,
Kanye.
Wait. You
conscious
didn't-
I love
person.
Kanye.
What-
That's not a diss.
What was your one word?
Yay.
That's not a word.
That is
Dirty.
a word.
It's not a
That
word.
is a word. That's
Dirty.
what
But
it
not
is.
in the way
It
you
was
say
Jay. It was Jay. It was Jay. It was
was
exactly.
Jay.
It was exactly who he is.
Awakening. Now, after that, we can just like.
Can I ask you a
So
question?
what you want to say about the people who said a lot of the claims he was making was false, and like especially Big Sean? Big Sean, like I was just with him. Like, what is he talking about?
Maybe he didn't know how he felt,
Kanye do what he want to do.
but that don't make it right.
I didn't say that. I'm just saying he's at the.
I don't
about
know.
the
I don't know
50
how
million
truthful
thing?
everything it was. I just like to hear people like speak their mind freely, no matter like. He might not be lying about what he might like. Still feel like Big Sean. Like he didn't say like I don't fuck with Big Sean. He just said
He said it was his worst mistake.
worst mistake doing that.
Why did
You
say
ain't
that?
hanging with your worst mistake.
No, you're not.
You
He
might want to keep the
does.
worst mistake closer to
Really,
you.
he does.
You ain't hanging with your worst mistake.
I hung with a motherfucker for 10 years. It was always
PA, what up, dog?
Not you, PA. But I'm just saying. I'm just like.
It's the okay. So today they was talking about. He said he was gonna give.
50 million.
Yeah, to Siegel. Like, was that? What's all that about?
That was a perfect timing to me. I mean, you know, I think about things like that because you like how much is for the camera and how much is for the. Yeah, because you could have been. You just thought about that while you was sitting at the table.
So yeah, I didn't see that part. I didn't see, he actually said that.
He
Yeah.
said that.
He ain't say
He
give
said
50
Siegel was the first person
Yeah, he
to
said
name
he
him
gonna-
Yeezy.
They say he'll give 50 million plus 5% of Yeezy.
He said that in
He
the
said that on
interview.
he said that in the interview.
Oh, he finna
No,
pay
he
him.
did not say that in the
Yes,
interview.
they
I
did.
just watched the interview.
You missed it.
I may
50
admit-
million, I ain't heard of
In
it.
the interview, he said 50 million to this
50
man.
million.
Jesus.
I think there is nothing
Oh,
that
that's
Kanye
great.
West will
That's
do that
phenomenal.
people are going to be okay with. Like
That's what I
Kanye
thought he
West
said in
is
the interview. He
not
owed him
who
some
people
money,
like.
right?
So
He
it
wanted to
goes
give us
back
money
to
to keep
that.
a few- I'm sorry.
If somebody like you, you can do and say whatever. When people don't like you, they gon' pick you apart. And he is one of those people that people don't like. But I think Kanye West is a very brilliant, deep thinking person that may not always say things in a way that people who always move in one direction understand. He can't articulate himself all the time where you know where he going because he go from one spot to another spot to another spot to another spot. But
What makes him brilliant to you?
Oh, he's very
he's super brilliant. Just he's talented and he doesn't think surface level. Like Kanye West say a lot of stuff that people don't agree with. People don't agree with it because people are so used to being taught one thing. And when you're used to being taught one thing and everybody else believes that one thing, it take a lot of courage to go against that grain. And so like him being
So he's brilliant at what?
Just in his thought process. He's brilliant in his ability to be free from thinking and feeling and moving the way everybody expect you to think and feel. He's brilliant. He's talented. That comes from some sense of brilliance. Like I look at him and I thank God for him as an artist, because he respectfully shows you that you can just be you and I'm still gonna succeed. I don't care if y'all don't like me. I don't care if y'all don't agree with me. He's still leveling up, and he's still saying things that y'all probably should start paying more conscious attention to, because it's real.
Yeah. Well, to a degree. I mean, I look like Kanye, but Kanye do say a lot of contradictory stuff, even starting in the beginning when he used to talk about. I mean, he said in song about how he always talked about the industry and how people are and how things work and operate in the industry, and he made it clear how these rappers go out and get a white girl, but then you go marry a white girl and have 4 kids by her. Man, she's white.
Armenian.
She's Armenian.
She ain't black.
Guess what?
But
She's white.
But to be
If I get
honest,
some money, I'm fucking
life
white.
is contradicting. Like, believe it or not, life is contradicting. You're gonna start life and start. You can say today, this is something I won't do, and tomorrow you can do the very thing you said you won't do. Now, will you be man enough to say, "Oh, I did that shit," and say it out loud and don't care if people were saying, "Well, he was just saying yesterday he wouldn't do that"? Or are you the person who
Sound like Aaron
won't
Rodgers.
admit that you did it so that you can seem real enough to keep standing on what you say? Like, life changes too much for any of us to not be contradicted.
That's a true.
You know, out of this.
I mean, a true statement.
Go ahead, brother. No, I ain't want to. Go ahead, brother.
No, but when you, I just think when you're awarded a certain place, it's a lot of brilliant people out here. Not taking nothing from Kanye, but when you get as much money and you become untouchable, and then you have things afforded to you, and you have. I always had this argument with people about Beyonce. I said, dog, she's credible. I get it. I understand. But I know some people that can outperform her.
Yes.
It's just that they don't have the platform or the voice that she has.
Oh, yeah, that's
Hey,
different.
do
You know
you?
what I'm
I
saying?
know some people
hold
that
on.
can outsing.
This-
Two totally different things.
You know what to talk about that the Benny Siegel and Kanye thing. What I do, you know, when I heard I didn't hear about the 50 million in the Drink Champs conversation, but I did say he owed him some money, right? It's kind of like, yeah, he said he owed him some money. I didn't in that interview hear him say any amount. But what I do appreciate about that is it flashes me back to that story that Kanye and Beanie says about when these cats pushed up on Kanye in the cap. I think it was 23rd. So it was I don't know. It was his diner on 23rd and 8th. I lived in New York for a long time, so I know this diner. We used to hit this spot up. So if y'all ever look it up, it's these cats that rode up on Kanye. You know, and Kanye is Kanye. You know, he got the polo, but he has chains on, and these cats was going to like just about to stick him up. You know, and Beanie pulled up on these cats and came through, and Kanye tucked his chain in. He was with some girl or something like that. Beanie came through and pulled up on these cats and sat down right next to Kanye and said, "Hey man, take your chain out pull your chain back out. What y'all gonna do to this dude?" You know what I'm saying? So that type of, looking out for your brothers and things like that, and you can and you recognizing that. I don't know. He said he came up with the word Yeezy, and that's I wasn't there for that. Right. But what I do know is that both of them have said this story, and that's dope. And to seeing that story, how he reaching back when he's in a position,
right,
to look back at cat who could have ran up on him.
If I call you DZ right now, and you tell me you give me 50 million, I need that 50. And you said you was gonna give it to me.
Back to
talk.
Yeah.
I like that how he keeps that authentic. When what you talk about Kanye, I really don't like how we pass the word genius around so easy like that. Like,
But we don't pass it around, so
we don't.
But I'm not. Kimmy, like,
well, I'm just gonna...
why do we call him a genius? Because to me he has an evangelistic approach about how he makes money. I don't see anything like when we listen to his music right now. It's not like Let It Go. Now years ago you could let it go. Now we be fast forwarding some of that shit. Like that shit don't be that dope no more to be like you just that great no more.
I'm gonna say why I would say he a genius. Because
it has nothing to do with if you like his music or not.
And
nobody's told me why he's a genius yet.
Man, you just cut me all the way. I don't even want to tell my story no more.
I tell you why I think he's a genius. Like if music shifts every time he comes out, man. You may not the last with his gospel album, and you might even hear that. He might not come out in his gospel album, but you heard Chance 3, right? and he EP'd that. And that changed the sound, but then Kanye changes the sound when music comes out. Like those the 808 after 808 and Heartbeats, it changed the landscape of music. Like
genius.
Did it though?
No. I'm just straight up. You just look at
what was the 808 point that changed the landscape
look
of
at
music?
If you don't think
emotional.
he's a genius, there's nothing anybody can say that's gonna make you think that. Because to me, you are a very intelligent person who recognize geniuses. So, like, if you don't already think that, you don't want to know why we think that.
No, I do want to know.
No,
you actually
you gonna agree with us?
If you
if you point something open,
feel that way.
And
So the emotional telling of stories and all that, how that story, how he did his thing in 808, because that's the clearest example for me. Like it's other examples, but the clearest example is after 808 and Heartbeats came out, how the music sound, how that whole wave after that. You don't think that Cudi and all those things and all that whole push
like I didn't like
after that?
Cudi and all that.
But you hold on a second, you ain't got
but the masses.
Oh, so y'all love Cudi and all that?
How about
Hey,
that? It ain't gotta do nothing with anybody at this table. But it's 1, 2, 3, 4,
Kid
5,
Cudi, my dog.
It's 6, 7 people at this table. That don't matter about us 7. What
Is
we
there
do or don't.
anybody that you think
It's
is a
millions
genius?
of people. It's millions of people.
Not
who mess
like
with
Milton Bradley.
You think Jeff Bezos is a genius?
Man, no, I don't even know. Maybe I need to find out to myself what a genius is.
I agree.
Because
Okay.
to me,
All right.
because a genius.
That was a good ass answer.
To me,
boy.
That is.
when you do something
Great answer.
genuine, when you say genuine,
look at
when,
hit the
genius,
button for yourself with that one.
I think that's some dialect that comes from being genuine, or you changing the world.
You don't feel
Or
like he
doing
was
something.
genuine?
That's what he
though?
has.
I
Okay,
said
let me
that's
say
what I
this.
think.
Let me say this. Let me
Who's
say
a
this. Let me
genius
say
in
this.
your category?
He don't know. He say he don't know nothing. He don't know
Who's a
nothing.
genius? Give me an example of a genius.
Intellectual,
Creative power or other natural
Albert Einstein
abilities.
is
Okay.
Albert Einstein is a genius to me.
Why?
Okay.
Because he changed the world about how we do things, even if it was evil shit.
So
he
you
still
don't think
changed the world.
Kanye changed the world that made it was cool to rap about pink polos and Jesus?
You don't think he has
Cameron
creative
rapped
power?
about Jesus.
But
I mean,
but
rap
but
pink
but it was
polos.
a whole.
walks that people were
that
actually
that
doing.
makes it genius.
No, that's not the
Man's a
only.
genius.
It
No,
changed.
hold on, no, hold on,
okay,
hold on.
hold on.
His producing alone.
Hold on. Let me say this. Let me say this. From his first album coming out.
I do
No,
like
no,
it. I do like him. I don't like
Kanye fan.
genius.
He's a
Like-
Yeezy fan. I just feel like
Einstein. Anybody music?
it's
What's a
not.
I'm gonna
musical
say
genius?
from my standpoint. By me not really being in the streets like a lot of people was, selling dope and doing all this, for me to be able to hear him and can relate to a lot of shit he was saying, to me, even if you don't call him a genius, the person who said, man, you need to go out there and do this shit, bro, because it's gonna change a whole lot of shit. Like, you don't have to be kill to be that guy no more. And to me, it was like, it was ingenious. Like, bro, I can do this without y'all.
That wasn't-
I can
he
still
wasn't
make
the
the
first person
beats.
to do that though.
But
You know what? You know, make it complicated.
But it
Even
was
the
his
fact, even
platform.
another
But as
feminine.
an artist,
So money's gonna make
No,
it
I'm
worse.
not saying that, but I'm gonna ask you that. And to get to that point, there had to be a thought process. He did that.
Yeah.
He did that. He is worth how much?
He didn't do that.
Can-
So,
hold on,
no,
hold on.
what
Like
does
Boy,
that got to
even
do with
just a
this?
brainiac or
Hey,
even
but
He
that-
capitalized on a lot of other
Who's
shit.
who's a musical? Yeah, give me three.
let's just
musical
ask
geniuses.
T Love.
Give me three musical
He just
geniuses.
been waiting on I want to say.
What's that?
Nobody put that word in front of genius.
I
That's
did
what I've
say
been
that.
working.
No, I
Yeah.
did say that.
Musical.
Yeah, give me
I
three
said
musical
that. I
geniuses
said
in your
there's different
category.
There's
Oh,
different genres
thank
of
you.
geniuses, and we can't say
Thank
he's not
you.
a musical.
A genius is a
I
genius.
said that.
Now,
It is. It's true.
But I didn't hear you say it. But I
I
also
said that.
I understand.
I wanna hear it.
I do also agree with Dirty because a lot of people throw the genius word around.
Who else they say was a genius that I don't know?
Who else have we called a genius?
Is that Kanye,
Yeah,
Prince,
I mean,
Michael
Kanye,
Jackson?
I'm not talking
Prince,
about these people
Michael
at this
Jackson.
table.
Neo,
I'm just
maybe.
saying.
Who?
Us as a people.
musically.
We just throw
Neo.
A little.
But you got to remember though,
Okay.
Kanye. But listen, Kanye did use his platform, like you said. Who else would have came on TV? Now this don't make you genuine, but I feel like the way him being, I feel like he a real dude. In my
And who is? I want to.
When you come on there and say George Bush don't like white people, bro, you was a genius. I'm gonna take this music. I'm gonna use this music to get my platform to say what I really want to say and how I feel about everything, bro. So maybe I didn't go that way. I was smart enough to think I can do it this way, touch these people, and then because Kanye ain't the same Kanye, bro. We all know that he ain't the same college dropout.
Yeah, I mean,
No, I'm saying it's a good thing.
This is
No,
another
I'm
thing,
saying it's a
though.
good thing.
A synonym for
your experiences shape who you are.
Yeah, I'm saying it's a good thing.
Is witty, and he's very witty. He's very brainiac. Like, so he defines a lot of the definition of genius.
For him to have Yeezy and be like, fuck Nike. Like,
that's what I just said.
Who was doing that?
And I was talking about I'm not talking about his money in terms of, he just has. I'm saying these are the different avenues that he's used. Musically, he's gifted. He's talented. He's a musical genius. That's, even if you don't like Kanye, you can't say he didn't change the culture and that he's not a musical genius. The same way you couldn't say Mozart is not one. I mean, let's be serious. It's the way he hears. I think that's one thing. I also think that he is a genius in other avenues because of the way he uses his brain.
Yes,
I mean,
he's
even
a
the whole
brainiac.
Trump thing, if you really sit back and look at what that was, he wasn't really riding with him. I mean, it's a lot of different things. He gets people talking. He knows what
Fooling
to do.
people is
He's
not
tapped into
genuine.
Oh, it does.
There's
it-
nothing.
I agree with
There's
that point.
There's nothing
No,
genuous
you
about
gotta
that.
Look at the
There's
meaning
nothing
of
genuous about fooling
that's
people.
The definition,
Genuine
genius.
has nothing to do with
with
genius.
genuine.
Genius
It does
only
not.
intellect and intelligence.
And
That's
genius-
not.
nothing to
There's
do
no.
with
There's no.
genius.
Let me
Look it
tell
up.
you something.
Fooling people is not being a
No,
genius.
man.
Hey, Diddy. Fooling people is not being
when he
a
was in
genius.
front of Trump, how did you feel, though?
To be clear,
When he was in front of Trump, how did you
Riding
feel?
with him.
No, I said if you
I
really
don't
think
dislike
about it,
Trump,
I just
so
said
you
that
might not
was
wanna
genius
ask
and
me
stuff,
that.
and it is to me.
Wow. Okay,
You.
that's on the show.
Don't
He
start
got
with
everybody
that.
that started trying to go against him, and then
Tell
all
the
of a
show.
sudden he
I
came
think
up with
Trump
this
is a
juice
good
album that
businessman.
went top, even if it wasn't that.
about that.
But that don't mean you like him,
I
though.
ain't gonna say what I think.
presidency.
What I think.
But you
like,
saying
to me,
dislike is different.
Yeah, I'm not saying I love
Hold on
Trump.
the show.
I'm just saying Trump is what Trump is.
I'm just saying what you say.
But the difference is when I'm listening to someone, I'm listening to comprehend. There's nothing any of us can say that's going to make you think that, and you keep bringing up the word genuine, and the reason
That's
why.
the word we discussed.
But no, we
It's
were
not.
not. We were using genius and genuine
Why
have
that word
nothing to
genius
do
come
with
from?
one another.
Morgan.
We're just saying because of
So
the
you
way
don't
Morgan.
think genius
it's
has nothing
spelled.
to do with genuine?
No, it doesn't. I
Morgan.
can be
But
a
the-
brainiac,
Morgan,
but
Morgan,
I cannot, I
Morgan.
can be a fake as hell.
Morgan.
Part of the
Morgan, let me say
part of
this.
the
Let me say this.
definition of genius does
Let me say this.
include
Let me say
clever.
this. Let me say this. Let me say this.
Clever.
So
Let me
if
say
he's
this.
clever,
Just-
it
let me
is
say this.
still genius.
Let me say this. If Dirty,
But I ain't gonna say he ain't.
no, I'm just gonna listen.
Me neither.
I'm gonna go on Dirty side. We're gonna go both sides.
Where you go?
But I'm saying though, like,
gonna
if
put
he's
that
saying
back.
Albert Einstein, maybe he thinking an inventor, you invented this, you're a genius. You know what I'm saying? But in my mind, it's like if Dirty can come up with, I'm gonna have a roast for myself Saturday and make 50,000. I'm like, nigga, you a fucking genius. You know what I'm saying? Because if you thought about that in your mind to make some money off this shit and you did it, in my mind, it's a lot of, to me, it's more than one genius in the world. He might not make 500 million,
It's a lot of genius.
but what if he's someone's like this show on the road? But they be like, bro, you a fucking genius, bro. I'm like, that nigga. But so your vision of a genius, it's no real answer for a fucking genius. So if you want to call Kanye a genius, it's an opinion.
But we
So
said
you-
that
no,
from the very
no.
beginning.
You're talking to him.
No, he heard me. I'm
You should
on
be talking to everybody because
Yeah.
you're kind of clearing up everything.
I'm just saying.
I already
I'm
said
just
that
saying.
multiple times.
So to go back.
Of course he did.
So to go back, when you say Kanye is a genius, in that case, I gotta say, fuck it, Dame Dash a genius.
I'm not gonna say he's not.
I'm just
I'm
saying.
Say Nelly's not.
I'm just saying
I'm not
anybody.
gonna say- I'm not gonna say
I'm just
the
saying
white people.
anybody who thought in my mind, put him on. Do this. My man just wrote a whole documentary, bro. You got to be a genius.
Genius.
I'm just saying, but it get tossed around a
I
lot.
think a lot of
to,
people don't know the meaning of a certain word, and I think that people run with it, think that there's something wrong with it.
But
there isn't.
I
Because
have
what's
never
genius to me
heard
may not
anybody
be
call
genius to
somebody
you.
else a genius. So like that's another thing. When y'all saying
It
it's
might be
getting tossed
saturated,
around a lot, I don't hear people calling people
I
that.
don't either.
Yeah, a lot.
So, like,
I heard a lot.
I don't.
Especially, it's like
it's the word genius really important to us, though.
It's like an
It's
industry.
not. It was an
Right.
opinion to us. And
That's
he
what I'm- it's
asked,
an opinion.
why do we think that? It's just opinion.
But in the industry,
And when
yes,
you
it
have an
makes sense.
opinion, you can't convince somebody else that your opinion will be their opinion.
But you know what though? Like,
Yeah, they got a whole documentary. They got a whole. You should watch. They got a whole series called Genius.
listen,
Where they
Oh, I
going
will
from
watch
artist
it.
to artist. They Aretha Franklin.
listen.
They doing all that.
I'm a Jay-Z fan first. So anybody who Jay fuck with, I'm gonna tend to like them. Not saying I'm gonna love you. I love Kanye. Like, it's one of my favorite artists. However, the shit that's been like his music now, you gotta sit back and like to understand the shit. That ain't always me.
Question: Hey, had you at one point did you call him genius?
No, I really don't. Like
So
the
you
word
ain't never,
genius,
no,
it's
would
not
you
that important to me.
Would you? I'm not saying
Go
this,
ahead.
but would you consider him genius at any point of his career?
Yes.
So do you think it went away?
I never really thought about it like that, to be
You
honest.
see what I'm saying? So
You know
it's
what I'm
still
saying? Yeah, I never
it
really
doesn't
thought, because
like you because what made that genius
doesn't
just
even
doesn't
matter.
No, it does because it matters because it just doesn't wash away. You may not be on that vibe, and I'm pretty sure that going back to Kanye. And listen, he
I
has
think
put
you-
out.
I
He
think
has,
you are-
he
wait,
has,
wait,
hold on
no,
a second,
no,
one
no,
second,
no,
let me
no,
finish.
no.
He has put out music that has not been for this time.
Yes.
And then we caught up to his music and realized that we're in this wave.
Yes.
But D,
You see
hold
what
on,
I'm
no,
saying? So
D,
that's what.
Definitely
that's-
not gonna agree with that.
You
D,
ain't gotta
no,
agree
no.
with it.
Like, let me say this
gotta
though.
agree with it.
How you
It's
make
what
Let me
it
say
is.
this though.
for the
It's what it
time?
is.
Hey, D,
It's what it is, man.
Hey, D.
Your mental
Hey, D.
Did you
right
understand
now.
it when he
Listen.
put it out?
If the
Yes.
man make an album right
like-
now and he flop,
Did
you
you
ain't gonna be
understand it
no
when he
more?
put it out?
Oh yeah, I rock.
So how
with it,
could
but
you
I
say
can
it's not for the
understand-
time if you
You can
understood it?
say that it
No,
may
I
not be
can't,
for
but a
your
lot of stuff-
mental
no,
right
let
now.
me straight
It may
up.
not be
It's
for
But
your
no,
specific
okay,
mental.
no, we going all the way that way. That's left.
Because I like the way he's moving.
Because listen,
too.
if you are a Kanye fan, you're going to like it.
Like
Okay?
what?
Me and you just set up and we was talking about Jay-Z albums.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
We was talking about, man, I really didn't like that album. I really like that. Kanye got, I ain't gonna say it's a cult, but if you like it, you're going to love it. Because
Okay, no, that's like his
I-
last gospel.
yeah.
Like I'm a fan of Kanye music, but his last the gospel album, I was like,
It's something.
Okay.
it wasn't
Okay,
nothing
but
that made me
listen,
be like,
Donda-
yo, this is the level. And
let's go
Donda's-
with
Donda's cool.
Donda. Let's go with Donda.
Donda's cool.
The
I
Donda
mean, but-
probably made more money before it came out than after.
And you don't think that was genius?
And that was genius.
I'm
You
just
can't
asking.
deny it. You
So when
can't
Jay-Z,
deny
when
it.
Jay-Z, when
That was
Jay-Z album
genius.
came,
Anytime you fool somebody, to me, that's not genius.
It is. No, that's definitely a
What did he
genius.
fool?
He didn't
But-
fool him.
but
You
listen.
think I was gonna make some great shit, and you just made some regular shit, and that's
But
not
somebody think
genius.
it's
Hey,
a
listen,
great
it
shit.
was
That's
elements.
bait and switch to me.
I don't
That's
really.
you-
I ain't
that's
gonna lie.
used car
I'm not a
salesman.
fan of Donda album.
You think everybody game?
Look,
That's
you
used
like a
car
Donda album?
salesman. That's used car salesman to me.
Hold on,
I
hold on.
think
No,
a lot
Morgan,
of the
Morgan,
industry is based with.
Morgan, do you like the
Not
Donda album
just
though?
the industry.
Honestly, you like the
Do I
Donda
love
album?
it? No, but do I like it? I've listened.
You
to
like it because you a fan.
No, because the first time I heard it, I said it's some bullshit.
He's a musical genius.
So you said what I said? You got something like.
See, I might be crazy.
Yeah,
because
but
I like Kanye
musical
West,
is what
so
I'm
I
like.
wouldn't say that.
All I
Yeah.
need is musical genius. That's all he. I mean, that's the first.
So
thing
you
that
say he a
pops in my
musical
mind.
genius?
No, okay, but it's
he's
still.
genius.
But no matter what you put in the.
We gotta
Oh man.
It's 10:14.
yeah, we
What's up?
gotta like
That
close
was a hot club.
close it out.
Oh, damn, it's 10:14. I think we're going to 11.
There's a proclamation that we have on set right now. Damien D. Smith, man, tell me, I'm holding something in my hand right now.
Let me put the
Fat,
camera
can you put on it? Tell us about what you got today, man.
Oh man, it was dope, man. The St. Louis County gave me a resolution, and it was talked about. It gave me talked about the achievements of the documentary Target St. Louis Volume 1, and and different things, the contributions that I provided to telling this story and progressing the narrative of St. Louis. So they gave me this during the city council meeting today. It was really dope, man. I was really like, I didn't know about it. They just told me about it like yesterday that this is a possibility, and then today it happened, and it's an achievement because for me it's why I did this documentary. I did it for St. Louis, man. So this is who I did it for, man. And it really made me feel a really emotional time, and I feel really good about it. So yeah.
Good job.
No, I ain't cry held it, man. I looked up in the sky though. I looked in the sky, like
Did you get an acceptance speech?
no, you know what I said. A
You know
quick
what?
Acceptance. It was
Do
about
your
a line
acceptance
and
speech
a half.
right now. You guys do it right now.
No,
Acceptance
it
right
wasn't.
now.
It was to the point. I said, listen, I did it for St. Louis, and I appreciate St. Louis recognizing. That was it.
Shout out to Granny.
Yo, just always shout out to Granny. We talked about that. Sarah Modella Barnes.
Can I ask you this though?
Yeah, go for it.
And you know what? Like this might be the wrong. I don't give a fuck.
Go
But-
for it, bro.
Hold it back up again, Dirty. Can I say it again? I feel like what you did was a great thing, but that right there should be given to a whole lot of other people in this city. Because people like got their foots and boots on the ground every day, and it's like, is this something?
Damn, I shouldn't even be holding this.
Yeah.
no more.
Yeah, like I'm just saying though.
Just demonize the whole thing.
Yeah. I did that.
Real Kanye
No,
West.
listen.
Oh, man.
No, listen.
man.
No, listen. What you did was a great thing.
Good job.
But
Good job.
but how does that even come about though?
How did what come
Hey,
about?
man, the right people recognize what he did, man.
Hey, but hold on, I can tell you that I put on for my city though. Let's not. It's no.
I'm
Hold
not
on one
saying
second.
you didn't do
No,
that.
no, 1 second. Let's be real clear about certain things, right? I'm from the north side of St. Louis, off Kings
push
Highway
it
in
again.
West Florida,
Don't push it
all
again.
day long.
Hit it
So
with
it's
great
so I
things.
came. So I went from New York to L.A. and all around the world performing and doing what I need to do. And then in every point of that journey, I recognize and talk St. Louis every day, all day. So that's why, when it comes to like recognition, and then I do a documentary for the people of St. Louis, and there's a documentary speaking about things that are not spoken about and bringing it to the light, and then addressing it and keep pushing forward. And all this is self-financed. Yeah, I take that for sure, because I put on for the city. That's what I'm saying. That's all right, Dirk.
Hey,
Like that.
that's what I like. Hey,
I love it.
hey, that's
Man,
another
much respect.
edition of What Up Doe Radio.
I drink to that.
Hey, thank you for
Put something in this cup.
that was a great. And you got Pat. You was finna. Hey, I thought you was finna jump over the
Oh
table
no,
for
man,
us.
it's my brother. I love you.
Got the answers fast.
Great show, man. Like I say, man. Grown men, grown people sitting down together. We don't always get along, but we always.
We love each other. I love y'all.
What was you gonna say there? We always what?
What she said.
Hey, you was gonna say we always agree.
I didn't have nothing to say. She caught the.
Saturday, bro. What's up, Saturday, bro?
Saturday.
Come on, my
Hey,
nigga.
man, it's 50 tickets left, man.
I'm wearing apple
Out of how many
bottom
tickets?
And boots. What the
Out of
fuck?
50 tickets left. Let's just leave it at that.
She went apple bottom.
Apple bottom jeans.
What Up
boots.
Though Radio has in the first inaugural roast, Black Tie Affair. Hey, I'm bringing the city out, man.
Woo!
Please look nice. Don't bring your latest T-shirt and some skinny jeans or whatever you think, or in a bag that costs $500,000. Don't do that tonight. No, for free. We're gonna have a great night, man.
Dirk, can I ask you one question?
Sure.
Let's get this clear. As everybody in the show, you said this was the What Up Though, right?
Yeah.
Then we supposed to get roasted too? Like,
Oh yeah.
oh no.
Yeah.
You try to roast me. but
Right? Didi, how you feel about that? You want to get roasted too?
I'm not coming.
This is Dirty's roast.
We just
T-Love, you
gonna
want to get
put
roasted
we gonna
too?
Yo, roast.
We're gonna put it.
Yeah, let's get this right. This is Dirty's roast.
I have nothing
This
to do with it. You
right.
chose
This is
that as the
Dirty's
thing.
roast. We are gonna
It's
support
your
you.
roast.
We are supporting you.
I'm
but
sorry,
this is
but
Dirty's roast.
Me and the comedians, we've already talked about, like, okay, yeah, you can fuck me up, but like,
Fuck us. We ain't gonna
but
do
make
it.
sure you touch everybody.
Well, then you're gonna get sued because we were not in agreement with
You didn't
it.
sign that waiver?
No, I did not.
I did not read that text message, Dirty.
Wait, but they not gonna join us, right?
They
That was
are.
not a
Oh,
part
I
of
got
it.
some for 'em. Let them join us.
Hold on, wait, no, are you for real?
I mean, they just gonna let the show have it, man.
I don't even feel like that.
This is about you, nigga. Nothing's gonna do with us.
Man,
Anyway, come out
y'all don't really
Saturday.
have to worry
Buy
about
your
too
tickets
much.
at billionsstl.com. It's going to be a beautiful
Nah,
night. It's always a great time to celebrate being black and around excellence and dressing up nice. It's going to be a good time.
We're gonna open up the holiday season very well.
We can't defend ourselves?
I'm gonna defend y'all.
No, bro.
We gotta wait till it's over.
You know what I'm saying?
We should have an open mic. Like, hold up, nigga.
I'm going to get up and say,
But
You snuck that What Up Doe Radio roast in there, though, bro. Now I've been waiting to ask you that.
so you pulled a Kanye. You fooled us.
You yayed
You yayed us.
No, he
wasn't that so genius?
he-
of me?
Let me tell people what they
yeah,
can
Dirty a genius.
Wasn't that
Dirty a
wasn't that so
genius.
genius of me?
He is a genius.
He got immunized.
Oh,
Okay.
Hold on.
And also, you tell people
Look
where
over
they,
here,
where they
say-
can find us at, right?
Oh, my
Yeah,
bad.
go ahead. Yeah.
My bad.
We doing that.
Say everything that.
In your end game.
Where's my end game?
Yeah. What was with the end game? What's your
Okay,
end game?
got you. All right, so check it out. Y'all can, so what's going on now is the St. Louis. Okay, I'll wait.
It's my 16-year-old. He got a skill in the ski mask. I'm on the way.
Something wrong with that.
Stay off the weed.
Okay, good people, check this out. So y'all can check us out at the St. Louis International Film Festival. It's still going on right now. You can check the film out virtually, Target St. Louis Volume 1. And also, you can keep up with me, Damien D. Smith, on Instagram and Facebook at Damien D. Smith, Damien D. Smith. And then also, you can follow the film at Target St. Louis Volume 1. That's Target STL Louis VOL1. And also, that's his son calling with a ski mask and a 38. Got a ski mask and a 38. All right, I'm just joking. But listen, yeah, all right, my good people, appreciate you.
Much love.
That's it, man.
Y'all watched Wu-Tang Saga Continues?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
I'm not caught all the way up, but I checked it out.
You're from Rosalie?
Yeah.
I'm on Holly.
You where? On Holly?
Holly off Carter and Athlone.
Okay.
Right around the corner.
Yeah. I'm on Rosalie, right out.
Oh, that's your website.
Yeah, that's I guess a website on that.
RZA is a genius.
RZA is a genius.
Yeah, I heard.
And I don't even like they music.
This is really
Now,
good though.
is that
I
camera?
mean, I like
Oh,
some of the
what's
stuff,
online?
but most of the stuff I don't like.
The camera still on?
He's just cute.
The
Show.
yeah. So it's done?
It's hard to say because I mean it's really their life story. It shows you how they
I
came.
can fire that back up. That's good, sir.